Then I would just say.
Racist. Okay.
Why?
Alright, just cause. And we are
Okay.
live.
Cool.
Hello everyone. How do you do?
Hello.
Oh my god.
Hey,
Hello.
Can you
Hey.
hear us?
I can.
Oh my god.
Yay!
It's a
Sorry
miracle.
about that.
Yay. I mean, just in time, we literally hit live.
Oh, that's great. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi.
Look
Hello,
at us.
everyone on the internet.
We have got.
5 of us.
I know. It's like the anime stream all over again.
Yep.
Look at this. We've got returning blood. We've got old blood. We've got, well, moderate blood. We've got all sorts of blood going on today.
It's a blood fest.
Hell yeah.
You could say we're a buffet for vampires.
I mean, I
Oh.
was talking more in the vein of experience, but yeah, sure, we can talk about it literally. So, as far as introductions go, we have the OGD returning. Hello, David.
Hello, everyone. How is everyone?
Wonderful, wonderful. And then, to my
Awesome.
right, we have AD returning. Hello there, David. How do you do?
So I'm alright. I can't complain, I guess. I mean, I can, but I don't want to. So
Do you know what? Fair enough. I can't fault you for that. And to the right of him, we have got the lovely Ilaria returning. How do you do, madame?
Hello. I'm good. Yeah.
And then, finally, we have the Pandicoot herself, Amy.
Hello, everybody. I'm here too.
Well, today we're going to be talking about this little show called Disney Plus's The Mandalorian. But before that, as is tradition, what have you guys watched this past week? Left or right, go.
Starting with me.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. I have been just enjoying watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, really. One of my comfort shows. So I've just been trying to enjoy lockdown as best as possible by just enjoying myself with that.
How could you?
I also watched It's a Sin, actually. I watched that last night. Russell T Davies' new show on Channel 4, all about AIDS and in the 1980s. And it was a really tough watch. I've always been a fan of Russell T Davies ever since he brought back Doctor Who. And I've really enjoyed some of the shows that he's brought out recently, like Very English Scandal, years and years, and It's a Sin goes right along with it as a really great showcase of his talents as a writer. And it's really well acted, it's hard hitting, and it's quite emotional. It's very emotional.
I am so glad. I'm so glad you said you really enjoy Russell T Davies' work instead of I really enjoy AIDS.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, just putting it out there. So, what else were you going to say?
It's just a really good show. Very emotional, tugs at the heartstrings, and it's a really big eye opener to what life was like back then.
Nice. Well, I suppose it's my turn now. I watched the first 2 episodes of WandaVision.
Nice.
Do you know what? It was quite well written, and it was very, very wholesome and cute for the most part. Well, until the magic shenanigans start going on, but yeah. Very wholesome, very cute. I love the magic show in the episode too. Very good. pleasantly surprised and very intrigued.
So only the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, I watch it
The
with my
third one's
parents,
out.
so I watched
okay.
them together. So next week, I'll have watched episode 3.
Because it came out this Friday.
I know, but
Yeah.
I see them on Wednesday, so
Okay.
unfortunately. But yeah, I will be watching them along as time goes on. But yes, I am very interested to see what the big reveal is going to be, so I'm very hooked on the show. And I watched season 1 and 2 of Mandalorian in preparation of this stream, so that's about it, really. So, yes. And AD, what about yourself?
I watched Dairy Girls, the whole
Oh,
show,
such a good show.
in about 2 days.
It's so funny.
Wow.
Not 2 days. You binged it. It was in
Oh,
one
no.
trip.
Oh no, I did the same. When I heard about it, I was just like, right, I'm watching the rest
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
it was one day. It's just yeah, it was one day.
Oh,
What
wow.
else? We watched Tenet.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you guys think of Tenet?
I don't understand it, but it's pretty good. I had Ilaria explaining it to me how it works. I think it was very painful for her.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, you would definitely get a nosebleed thinking about that film. I have so many issues with Tenet. Cool concept, but very, very questionable story. Fun though, I'll give it that. Very fun.
I mean, Christopher Nolan is not really known for having like a very straightforward
I know.
narrative. So,
That being said, you know what I would love to see Christopher Nolan do?
well,
A rom-com.
ooh,
I think that
that'd
would be
fun.
that would be so fascinating. A Christopher Nolan rom-com
That'd be amazing. I'd love to see that.
starring Michael Caine and Morgan Freeman.
Oh yeah, we love to see it.
Yeah, what else?
I watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine as my comfort food when I don't know what to watch.
Very
It's
nice.
also
Good choice.
like when I cook or something like that. I also watched the Italian show called Subura, which is on Netflix. And I finished it. I was watching it few weeks now, and I finished it a few days ago. And that's it, I think. Yeah.
Wonderful. And Ilarius, how about yourself?
Tenet as well. Then I watched the new French live action series of. I hope I'm pronouncing it right because in Italian we have a different pronunciation.
Oh,
But I think
Lupin.
the correct one, yeah, Lupin.
Oh, I love Lupin. How was the show? Because it is on my list of things to watch.
So I think it's not like the first couple of episodes. It's not the best script ever, but it's fun. It's fun to watch. It's exciting, for sure. If your parents like the style, I watched it with my parents and they loved it. So I would recommend it as a watch with the parents type of show.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I mean, waiting for part 2 now because they left on a cliffhanger. But, yeah. And then what else did I watch? I've been watching Black Lightning for the past couple of weeks.
Oh, right, the CW show.
Yeah.
And how are you finding that?
It's not among my favorite superhero shows, but I'm enjoying it. This past week, I've been feeling a lot wanting to consume superhero stuff. I think it's partly WandaVision's fault. So I've been reading comics and I've launched myself into watching stuff like Black Lightning. It's not bad, but it's not among my favorites. So yeah.
Sweet.
Guess it's my turn then. I watched a film called Promising Young Woman this week. It's a good film. It's a bit grim though. Like, it's not a feel-good film. Like, you don't come away from it being like, oh, yay! You come away from it being like, okay, I need to go watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine or some more now.
That's how I felt with It's a Sin. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. I watched all 5 episodes in one go. I was really engaged. But when it was over, I was like, I need to watch some Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
It's a really good film. Like, it's got one hell of a color palette. It's got like loads of candy bright pinks and stuff in it. It weirdly contrasts what the film's about, because it's basically, I don't want to go into spoiler territory, but it's basically a revenge story.
Oh, is this the one with Carey Mulligan?
Yeah, that's one.
Ah,
Yeah.
sweet.
But yeah, what's cool about it is it's a revenge story with like a twist. So I'm obviously not going to say what the twist is, but I think people should watch it, because also it does have some really good commentary about like what it is to be a woman nowadays. So I definitely think it's worth a watch. But I am like just warning anyone who watches it, it's not a happy film. As much as like the color palette suggests, it's completely not happy, but it's also something that I think is worth a watch, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
I get you.
fair enough.
I've been really looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, it is very good. I do have some issues with the story of it, but like I'll get into that whenever people watch it or whatever. Yeah. I also watched WandaVision. I know I'm obsessed with it, and I'm like, I need more of it. It needs to come out more. I'm also like really interested in reading the comics that it's based on.
It's based on comic.
Yeah, it's based on a comic that does feature Wanda and Vision in it. I can't remember what it's called right now, but
Isn't it The Visions, if I'm remembering?
I think Visions is one of it. It's like a bunch of them. Like, they've kind of taken stories from a bunch of comics that feature Wanda and feature Vision in them, and I think there's like 2 different ones that they've used, possibly 3. I can't remember, but I don't remember the names of them. So yeah, but I am really interested to go and read the source material they're going off of, just from
Same
watching
here.
WandaVision, and I'm just constantly like, oh, what's going to happen next? And it's very cool.
It is a really fun show. I also watched the first 3 episodes, and I had a really good time with them.
Yeah. What else did I watch? I know I watched something else. I can't remember. I also went back to watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine right after I watched Promising Young Woman, because I was like, I'm sad now. I need a happy thing.
Wait, so did everyone watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine this week?
Apparently so.
It sounds like it.
It's a good show.
I mean, I'm
Oh,
not
I
disagreeing with this.
I watched Gilmore Girls. That's what I also watched.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Lorelai Gilmore is fantastic.
Girls. Yeah. She is very good.
Oh, I haven't seen Gilmore Girls in like nearly 10 years now. Wow. I've been thinking about watching One Tree Hill again, just for shits and giggles.
I never watched One Tree Hill. I think I missed that one.
It's not bad from what I remember of it, which is why I want to go back, because I did end up using One Tree Hill as a reference in my Enola Holmes videos, so
Oh.
yeah. Make of that what you will.
Fair dues. Like, I know what happens, but weirdly, I never watched it. I think the only reason I know about it is because my friends, when I was in high school, would tell me about it.
Yeah, it was around the same time that the OC and stuff like that were going on as well,
Yeah.
so it was just one of those shows at the time. But yeah, I remember enjoying it quite a bit. We'll see what I think now.
Did Netflix in UK and Czech Republic also add Dawson Creek this week?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Ah.
Don't know. I'll have a look
Let's
now.
have a look.
Because in
Yeah.
Italy they did, and it went trending. Because so many people used to watch that show.
Dawson's Creek stream.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
It is on
it's on UK
Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all 4 apparently. If you wanted to know.
It is on
Cool.
Netflix.
Nice. I've never watched Dawson's Creek. Know of it
No,
though.
me neither. I know about it, and I know the main guy who was in it died. Like I think it was 2019.
For real? I didn't know
yeah.
that.
He was in he started in like the first I think 2 seasons of Riverdale, and then he died, and they made an episode like in memoriam of him, and it was quite sad.
Luke Perry.
Yep, that's
Oh, right, yeah.
yeah.
Wait, was Luke Perry on Dawson's Creek? I didn't know that. I don't remember him.
He's the main guy on it, wasn't he?
No, the main guy is James Van Der Beek.
Oh, okay.
Van der Beek.
Let us check.
Maybe it's a different one I'm thinking of. My bad.
Luke Perry, Dawson's Creek. He was in Dawson's Creek.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, I just
Um,
got him mixed up with the main guy then.
He was, well, let's see. Do-do-do-do-do. Feel free to talk, by the way. I'm just looking up where he was and what his name was.
Fair enough. I'm just gonna have to mute because I'm saying goodnight to Mikey. One second.
Yeah, of course.
we can go on about Brooklyn Nine-Nine if you guys want. I mean,
I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's such a fun show.
it is.
Who are your favorite characters?
Captain
Oh.
Holt.
Great choice.
Yes, David. Captain Holt is the man.
He's amazing.
I love Gina. I just love Gina.
I'm a big Rosa fan.
Oh yeah, they're all amazing. I mean, I also really like Amy. Like, she's so underrated fun.
I
She's-
agree. She's really sweet.
Yeah. And also, we can't forget about Cheddar. I mean,
Of course.
yeah.
I like Kevin as well. Yeah, he's a good character. I like them
Yeah.
all.
I think it's got such a good supporting cast as well. Like when you take into consideration Doug, Judy, Pimento, Kevin, Cheddar. It's a really good cast.
Yeah.
And then you've got the heists as well, which are just fantastic.
Yeah, there's also Bill.
Oh yeah, Bill.
Boom, boom.
Boom boom.
Boom, boom, Bill.
Nope, Luke Perry was not in fact in it. It was quoting another article that just happened to have Dawson's Creek in it. So Luke Perry was not in Dawson's Creek.
Hmm.
So I remembered well.
Yes, it appears you have remembered well, Ilaria.
I mean,
Yeah.
Dawson's Creek in Italy was very big. Like as big as the OC and High School Musical in that period.
Oh man. See, Ilar, I only think of these mid 2000s, mid 90s shows only when you come on because the others are so young.
Well, I'm not old yet.
No, but you make me feel young, and that's the important part.
Okay, yeah. I mean, in Italy, we received everything later than the rest of the world. So I guess that's why I know a lot of old shows and stuff.
I know it was the same in Sri Lanka as well. We always used to either get it on time or just much, much later. Especially when it comes to TV shows. Movies, we seem to get pretty fine, which is weird.
Yeah, here with like TV show, I remember around 2011, something like that. About the same time when Pretty Little Liars came out. It was an event because they were showing the episode the night after the US. so it was like this big event, and there were commercial everywhere because it was it was rarely done before, and I just remember that.
How far did you get into Pretty Little Liars? I only finished 2 seasons.
Oh, Pretty Little Liars. Yeah, I never finished it. I couldn't get past the teacher-student love story. I was like, "Bleh, nope, this is too gross for me."
I was pretty hooked until season 2. We were watching it with my parents every
Same.
week, and then I just there started to be a lot of A's and it was too complicated. We were like, no, that's
Yeah.
enough. That's it.
Like, season 2 finale was the last one I ever watched, and I was like, okay, I'm fine ending it here. Goodbye.
How many
Yeah.
seasons were there?
I can't
There's about-
remember.
Flipping 7, I think.
6 or 7, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was just like, I cannot. Like, I actually ended up spoiling what happened because I was like, I'm curious who's A, and then I was like, oh, there's a bunch of A's, and then there was a whole like, I found out that the student teacher romance get married, and I was like, no, that's gross.
I mean, what did they do with 7 seasons?
I have no idea.
The same thing again and again.
Yeah.
That's what.
Made a bunch of different A's, and then made a bunch of people be working with A. So it was like, oh, this person's betrayed this person, and it was just like, what is it going on anymore?
I feel like we got out at the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 seasons, I think, is enough before it's like, yeah, this is just what's going on now.
I
Right.
didn't watch it. I don't have no idea.
That's fine. You're
Same
really
here.
not missing
You're not
out, to
missing
be honest.
anything.
But yeah, we're here to talk about this little show called Mandalorian, and I was thinking, because there are 5 of us, how's about we all give our overall thoughts of Mando, and then we'll go through it episode by episode.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
So,
Good to me.
Okay.
right to left, what did you think of it in broad strokes? Amy,
Oh, am I sorry.
right to left.
He, he changed the order just out
I'm
of
sorry,
fun.
my
Or
brain
spite,
kind of-
we'll never know.
Both.
I don't know. It was probably spite. Knowing Dylan.
I'm a
Um,
spiteful individual.
I really liked it, and honestly, it got me back into Star Wars because before that, I was just kind of like, I'd gone off it because my ex liked Star Wars, and then for a long time I associated that with him, and he was not a nice person, so it was not nice remembering him. So I was like, it's just easier to avoid Star Wars because it was kind of a trigger, and that sucks because I really like Star Wars. But like obviously I got better, and it's no longer a trigger, and also like, I kind of I wasn't really that interested in the newer films, so I was like, okay, I'll give Mandalorian a watch because these guys kept talking about it a bunch on the podcast. So yeah, I watched the first episode and I was like, ooh, this is cool, and I absolutely loved the theme tune. So I was like, yep, first episode had me hooked pretty much. And I'm trying really hard to remember most of the story because I watched it like, it's got to be like 2 months ago now, but I love the costumes in it. I love the story because it is basically just a story about a bond between obviously Grogu and the Mandalorian. So I really enjoy their like relationship as it's going through. I think that kind of kept me invested. And I'm running out of things to say because, like I say, I cannot remember some parts of it, so I'll probably have more to say as we go through the episodes.
Ilaria.
I loved it. Simple as that. I mean, I found it really good, and I loved the visuals. I loved the music. It was so fascinating to me to see after, the last 3 films, something that was like, yes, And I was like, yes. And I've enjoyed it. I mean, cool visual. I like the story and nice. I enjoyed the costumes, and then there's like Baby Yoda or Grogu, however you want to call him. He's just too cute, and I fell in love with him, and adorable thing ever, and I just want him in my life. It's
Same here.
yeah.
He is very cute, but I am sick of the memes. Please stop with the memes.
All the memes.
The memes need to stop.
So yeah, that's it. I loved it. I loved it as a whole. And then I mean, Robert Rodriguez was involved. Taika Waititi was involved. So yeah, good stuff.
David.
I liked it. It's my second favorite Star Wars medium that's on screen, I guess, that you will watch.
Wow.
I definitely hold TV shows superior to any Star Wars films because I think Star Wars is not great for films, but made for TV shows. And it's technically it's probably the best looking TV show I've ever seen, and it makes sense because you have like Hollywood directors involved and Hollywood, cinematographers and basically like pretty enormous budget and some pretty revolutionary VFX that we saw in that show, considering it's a TV show as well. And it's definitely the best looking TV show I've seen, and I really enjoyed it. And it's just fun. It's a lot of fun, and I do like it a lot. I'm fond of it.
Sweet. So, unsurprisingly, I'm sure it's no shock to anyone who's watched. I am the one with the controversial opinion of the writing is garbage. I do enjoy it, but not for the reasons the show probably wants me to enjoy it. If I think of it as a spoof, I have a lot of fun with it, much in the vein of Twilight and Batman and Robin. Story is incredibly inconsistent, plot points are raised and dropped, characters are brought in and discarded. Bond between Mando and Baby Yoda is incredibly superficial and it's incredibly rushed, yet at the same time there's a lot of filler. Very much not a fan of the writing in the show whatsoever. In fact, season 1 was pretty bad to average in terms of writing. Season 2 was just a dumpster fire. And David, what do you think?
You didn't talk overall though. I have to say you didn't talk overall. You talked about the writing, which is a one specific aspect of the whole show.
Yeah, it looks good and it sounds good. That's about it. It looks good, sounds good. I got to see characters from other Star Wars material in this, and the most important part about the show, the writing, was utter garbage.
I don't think that's the most important part about Star Wars.
Okay.
No, let's go. David, his overall opinion.
Wait, what? No.
Yeah,
No.
We'll come
Wait.
back to it.
Story's not the most important part. I'm sorry. Fucking what? No.
Not
Okay.
story. Writing.
Wait, no.
But David's not had his turn. to
Yeah,
talk
let's give
yet.
David his
Come
turn.
on.
All right, David, say your piece, then I'm coming back.
That's fine. Let
Okay.
David speak.
Well, I am on the opposite side of Dylan. I really enjoyed the show. From the minute that I started watching it, back in March last year, when Disney Plus came out here in the UK, I really just completely got on board with the show, and I was really invested. Not every episode hits it out of the park, but I think for me the vast majority do. I love the character of Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, and his relationship with Grogu. And I find it really impressive how they've put this thing together, like from a technical aspect with the volume. The show just looks incredible and sounds incredible, and Ludwig Göransson's score, I'm a big fan of that as well, like Ilaria and Amy, and I just really enjoy the story. I love going from planet to planet with this character on this journey. And yeah, not every episode hits her out of the park. I don't like every character that's in the show. But for the vast majority of episodes, I just really, really enjoy it.
Okay, now you can proceed and fight it out. Go.
I am taking heavy breaths to calm down.
Oh no.
Okay, so David, I'm assuming you've watched all of the films.
Except for Rise of the Skywalker, yeah.
That's fine, no one cares about that film.
Yeah, you're not missing much.
So you've seen both seasons of Mando, that's cool. I'm guessing you've watched all of Clone Wars.
Not all of them, only the important episodes.
Okay, and you've watched, well, the important episodes of Rebels then.
No, I didn't watch important episodes of Rebels.
Did you watch any?
I watched the first 2 episodes, and then the season 2 of Mandalorian was, and I didn't came back to it yet. I plan to finish it to like get the link between Mandalorian. I know the story, like I've read Wikipedia. So,
Okay. So already you've watched more Star Wars content than I have. If it's not about the story, David, what is it? What attracts you to Star Wars? I'm genuinely curious. Is it the pretty
I'm not
colors?
saying the story. No.
Is it
I'm
the
not saying the story.
pew-pews?
I'm saying this writing. The story of Star Wars was always very basic.
Yeah, the
Like-
story's basic. And
And-
the writing in The Mandalorian's crap, that's what I'm saying.
And but the story was always very basic in Star Wars, like from the beginning, because the original trilogy is just the hero journey with a little twist, and that's it. And it's also just it's a guy, and you have very clear bad side and a very clear, very good side. There's never been any complexity to Star Wars in like writing or story. But what makes Star Wars for me is that it's got always had a great. It was always technically very good film on technical level. It had good cinematography, amazing music. It's outstanding design. Like the world has outstanding design. I mean, if you look, for example, at Darth Vader, you know he's bad just by the way he looks. If you look at like the Imperial Stormtroopers, you know they're not good guys because the design just said everything for it. It's got good fun scenes, It's always been a little bit cheesy, and I like the cheesiness of Star Wars. But I never really looked for like deep story in Star Wars. I never watched it for deep story. It's
Okay.
something that I just want to watch, like a film. Like Indiana Jones. It's a film.
Okay, so I'm not looking for Citizen Kane in Star Wars, let's get that straight. I'm just looking for basic consistency. 1 + 2 = 3. That's all I'm looking for. Mando doesn't do that.
Yeah, I don't think it matters because it's still enjoyable.
Why? Why is it enjoyable to you then? Help me understand.
I just want to see, I just want to see cool cinematography. When I see like Mandalorian, when I see Mando, in that wide shot going over the desert and the music, it makes me happy because it's a technically well-made shot, and like on like the purest, I would say, level, and the action is well directed.
The action is not well directed. We'll get to that. It's not well directed. It makes no
I
sense.
would say it is. It's a good pew pew time. I like good pew pew time.
Okay, that's all it is. Pew pew. Whether it's good or not is very debatable.
Yeah,
But,
but
If you like it for the pew pew, then that's fair.
it brings me back to like when I was a kid and I watched I don't know, like stupid flash animations of pew pew, and but this has got like bigger budget and
I need that on a t-shirt. Pew pew.
Everyone needs that on a t-shirt.
So you
And,
don't care at
the
all
story
about the
is
story.
not when I watch Star Wars, no.
So you don't
So I
care about
guess
things making sense.
I mean, in a universe where, like it's explained that the Force is the Force, and I don't really care because it's the universe is a big, I think, big leeway when stuff happens.
So would you say you're more nostalgic for it?
So you like the
Not
pretty colors
nostalgic.
and the cool sounds.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's a fair reason to like it.
I mean, if that's all you care about, Mando does have that. I can't fault it for that. Yeah, I mean, you do you, I guess. Yeah, visually it's fine. It looks good. It looks well. It looks fantastic for the budget. It's all realistic. Music is great. Sound effects are great. So, yeah,
I
if you're
think so.
if you're there for the
Especially-
colors and the
especially
sounds, yeah, sure.
I think especially now, you just like in this year, you just need sometimes just to watch something where you just turn your brain off and have a good time. And when it finishes, you just said, I had a pretty good time, and you're happy.
Okay, so I guess that's the big difference between us. I like 1 + 2 = 3. Basic consistency, and like things making sense to enjoy something. So I guess that's the big difference between us. You don't need that, and I'd like a little bit of that.
I'm a big adversary, especially Star Wars, of the rule of cool.
Okay, so
If it's cool enough and it doesn't make sense, it's cool. But it must look cool.
okay, so out of curiosity, do you like BVS,
What's BBS?
Batman v Superman?
Never seen it, no.
Okay. Avengers?
Yeah, I do like Avengers.
Nice, cool. Avengers 2.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Okay. Alright, well, you're consistent with that, so I have no issue with it then. Cool. I don't know what to say. Gonna be a pretty quick conversation for you, David, but oh boy, if we're gonna be talking about writing at all today, I think
we should, since it clearly bothers you.
Oh, it doesn't bother me. Yeah, I do have a good time at the writing's expense. Like I said, I have the Twilight effect with Mando, so I do have a good time with it. Although I don't quite think it's for the reason Mandalorian expected me to have the good time with. That's all.
That's fair. But I do think, because you're saying it's something that you don't like about it, then I do think it's fair to talk about it.
I'd agree with that.
Right. So, okay. Now that we've got the broad strokes out of the way, okay. So, Ilaria, what, much in the way of David, what are you looking for in this show?
So I went in when I started the show. I arrived late to the show. I have to say this because I arrived like when already half of season 2 was out, if I remember well.
Same.
And I started it and I binged it because I found it. I just wanted to have a good time and just kind of unplug. I didn't go in to watch a complicated masterpiece show. I mean, if I wanted something like that, I would have watched something different. Like, I don't know, The Handmaid's Tale or Westworld or something like that.
Or something European.
Or something European.
Something European. I can agree with that one.
That's fair.
But I went in to have a good time. I like the Star Wars universe because when there is music that excites me, I tend to get excited no matter how garbage or not garbage the content is, because I just get carried away by the music. I honestly didn't watch it much for the story in the sense of the plot, but I do have to say that sometimes I was like, wait, what is happening? In the sense of there was a plot point raised, and then I was like, oh wait, where did that go? But I just passed over it because I was like, it didn't matter to me because it wasn't the reason why I was watching it. I was watching it to have a good time, and I did have a good time because it was pleasing to the eyes, it was pleasing to the ears, and the mind just wanted to have a nice, relaxing time, getting excited by what I was watching.
Okay.
Makes sense.
And Amy, what do you like watching about the man? Like what? Same question as David and Ilaria, really. What do you?
What was I going on for it? I don't know. I have this weird thing where sometimes I do have issues with story, and then sometimes I can just kind of be like, okay, the story's kind of not making sense, but maybe it will start making sense, so I'm like more likely to just go with it. And then if there's plot points, I'm kind of like happy to gloss over it. Like I didn't really go into this expecting much out of it. I was just kind of like, I want to see what everyone's like enjoying about it, and like when I heard the music and I saw like the action pieces, I was like, oh, okay, I'm liking this. But there were times where I was genuinely confused. Mainly, I was confused about the timeline, like where it was set. So when we got to the end of season 2, I was like, "What? What? I'm confused." And then I was like, "Oh!" Like I went back and read it. I was like, "Oh, it's set after," because I thought it was set like before the first, like the
Before A New Hope.
original trilogy. Yeah. So I got confused at the timeline, so half of the time I was confused at like what period of time this was, because I will say one thing, like the costumes and everything are great. But like with Star Wars, it's kind of hard to tell which times are like which year you're in basically, because all of the things are the same. Things don't seem to change like weapon-wise or like costume-wise. Like I don't know if that's a feeling anyone else gets, but that's for me. It was very hard to tell what year we were in.
Okay.
But
Fair enough. So much like David and Ilaria, you were in for pretty colors and pew pews then.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I treat Star Wars a bit similar to the way I treat Marvel. Like Marvel has sometimes the story gets a bit over the top and goes like way out there, but I'm still like I'm enjoying it. So yeah.
Okay. OGD. Same question.
So going into The Mandalorian, I was really hoping for something different out of Star Wars, because a lot of what we've gotten has been surrounding the Skywalker saga. So I thought the idea of something to do with a different sector of Star Wars, with a Mandalorian of all people, I thought that was a really intriguing concept, and I was really looking forward to seeing what they would do with that. And I got on board right away. One of the things that I've really enjoyed has actually been the um, the kind of quest of the week style format of the show. Sometimes it can be a bit repetitive because you know exactly what you're gonna get. But growing up watching Doctor Who, a lot of the adventures in Doctor Who can be like, oh, monster of the week, new setting, new place, new characters, and that's something that I find is in The Mandalorian as well. There's a new planet, new characters, a new problem to solve every week, and it's something that I just really enjoy about the show. And I really connected with the character of Din Djarin. Uh, and I've just enjoyed seeing how the characters traveled across the over the course of the 2 seasons and forming that bond with Grogu. So yeah, that's how I feel.
Okay, so what about Mando did you connect with? David, carrying on.
I know. I don't know. Like something about Star Wars is that I think that it's really cool how people can get connected to certain characters, because there are a lot of people who loved Boba Fett going back to the original trilogy. And personally, I wasn't a person who got on board with Boba Fett. I thought that he had a cool design, but aside from that, I didn't really care much about the character. I wasn't all that engaged. People would talk about how cool he was, and I'd be like, okay, he kind of fell into the Sarlacc bit, but okay. Whereas with Din Djarin, I really got a sense of what he was like as a Mandalorian and the code that he follows, and I found it really intriguing how he was like so specific to this code, and he was very loyal to the Mandalorian creed. And I found it interesting that over the course of even the first episode, you see that he's very strict, and then once he sees Grogu, a character that kind of mirrors his journey, a lone child who's been found. I found it interesting how it kind of peels back the layers as the seasons go forward. You slowly see him kind of warm up a bit, and that's what I liked about him as a character.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. So, from what I've gathered, none of you really care about the story, all in all.
Not in
enjoy
this
the story.
instance.
I mean, I think we care about it. I just think if it's not good, when it's not a particularly like it's not something that would put us off it. Really, it'd just be like us being like, okay, the story's like gone a weird direction, but we're gonna go with it.
I like the story. I don't care about the writing.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the difference between story and writing?
You can have a interesting overall story, and the writing can be garbage. Like the dialogue can be garbage. The coincidence like that happens can be garbage. But I like the overall story of a just guy trying to, the point of the story. This guy just trying to find the Jedi for the little guy, and he goes somewhere and then he does stuff for the people, just because the coincidence is that. And it's like it's I think it's very close to what Star Wars is based off, like those 80s Japanese samurai films, like the
Yeah, the
Lone Wolf.
Kurosawa films. Yeah.
No, Lone Wolf and a Cub. This is literally just Lone Wolf and a Cub. You've got a skilled warrior and a kid, and they're just trying to survive, basically, because there's people going after them. Like Lone Wolf and a Cub is a series of films, pretty much hour and 20, I would say, something like that. So it's not that like, but there's only 6 of them, I think, or 8 of them. I'm not sure now.
Okay, so
And it's the same idea.
Okay, so peeling a bit further back, you guys like the story, the basic premise of it. Guy and his baby traveling and doing the pew-pews.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
Zen. It's a Zen story. It's simple.
Okay, and you guys don't care about the writing. I'm guess like you guys like the story, the basic premise, but you don't care about the story. I'm just trying to understand. That's all.
That's fair. No, I like I say, I don't know. I feel like the phrasing "don't care about it" kind of makes it sound like we don't care if it's bad or
Okay,
not.
so you're able to overlook flaws.
Yeah, I don't think it's a case of we don't care about it, because otherwise we wouldn't enjoy it if we didn't at least care about the thing a little bit. Like, we have a connection to this story, obviously, for us to enjoy it, so there's obviously going to be some aspect of caring about the story. Whereas if the writing's bad, we will just overlook it. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I can give it a big leeway just because I can get over stuff when
Yeah.
like it's like season 8 of Game of Thrones when people just teleporting around to move the story. I can give the leeway for that because I enjoyed season 8 of Game of Thrones. So
Fair enough. What was it?
Yeah, fair.
I'm gonna take a plot point for instance that I don't know, might have bothered me, but because I was enjoying it, it didn't too much. I was kind of like, the Mandalorian's a guy who has codes, principles. He's never broken them until now, and he's never really gone back on a bounty. So, like, when he takes Grogu back and then decides to save him, I was kind of like, why has he done that? I was like, why is he, like, what's made him change his mind about this specific bounty?
I mean,
But I kind of just glossed over it.
like,
I was like,
that's actually the one thing I'm okay with, where it's like, oh, look,
Oh,
it's a
fair enough.
baby. I mean, you'd
And
want to
baby,
save a
I mean,
baby at the end of the day, so
I
I have no
know,
problem
it's
with
a-
that.
It's
My
a
po-
baby, and he sees it as a reflection of himself because you see the flashbacks where he's found, which mirrors Grogu's as well, and they are both taken in as foundlings.
and it's
Of
gotta
course.
I just, for me, it felt like, surely he's had a bounty where it's been a bit like, it's not been a great situation, and he's just walked away from it. So I can understand the child aspect. It just, for me, I was like, this is a person who's followed a specific code for all these years. And it just seemed weird for me that he'd suddenly just snap out of it and, like, go against it. And I guess that's the whole point of it. But for me, like, obviously this is when I was first watching it. Like, now, obviously it makes more sense. But when I was first watching it, I was like, it just seems very bizarre that he's just completely disregarding all of his principles. Just, it kind of came out of nowhere for me when I was first watching it.
Going back to your question of earlier, Dylan, whether we don't care, I agree with Amy. Maybe don't care is not the exact wording I would use, because
Yeah, that's why I rephrased
me-
it to overlook.
yeah, it's more of that, because for me it was more of like, okay, am I enjoying this? Yes. There are there problems? Yes. Can I overlook the problems because I'm enjoying it? Yeah. So it went like this, and it happens with some TV shows for me where clearly sometimes even worse than The Mandalorian, there are like, I watch stuff like even similar to telenovelas where the writing is just terrible, but I'm enjoying it, so I just overlook it.
Yeah, and hey, like, I enjoy bad things too. I mean, OGD is a very, very experienced person when it comes to knowing how much I like Twilight, but, you know, I can overlook bad writing as well. It's inconsistent writing that I have an issue with, when
Okay.
1 plus 2 does not equal 3. Like, that's the issue I have with Mandalorian. Bad dialogue,
us-
fine.
Give us example.
Okay,
Yeah.
what happens to the tracking fobs?
Tracking who?
Tracking for-
Okay, in season 1 they used tracking fobs to find Baby Yoda. What happened to them in season 2?
The electricity went out. Easy.
What?
It's they broke.
All of them across the entire galaxy that had bounty hunters, all of them broke simultaneously.
Yeah, it could happen. It's the Force, man. Maybe Luke Skywalker was in the back, just chopping
He's like,
them.
I'm gonna break everything.
Give us another one. I'll tell you solutions for everything.
I bet you will.
This is a good one.
I'm still trying to process that, actually.
See, the thing is, I don't remember tracking fobs. They're probably not important, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, so the entire reason why Mando and Baby Yoda were running away because they were being chased by bounty hunters for the entirety of the season 1 is not important.
Well, they were still chased by the Empire in season 2.
Yes, and their bounty has risen 10 times in season 2 as well, according to Mulan herself.
I mean, in the second episode of season 2, you see the bounties who tried to get Mando at the start.
Yeah, but the tracking fobs never brought again. And this is considering the fact that you can use this exact same fob to bypass Bill Burr's episode and go straight to episode 8 from episode 6, saving a lot of time.
Yeah, but what you must know is that from what we've seen in like a lot of Star Wars media is that the bounty hunters are generally pretty incompetent in the Star Wars universe.
No, they are. Boba Fett in episode 5 was not incompetent. He did his job very well.
I say generally, but only Boba Fett did his job very well. There was like a lot of other bounty hunters that we've never seen ever. Like in the original trilogy, there was like Bosk. We've never seen him. There was the other guy who was in the same group with Bosk. We've never seen him. There was the assassin droid. We've never seen him as well. We've only seen Boba Fett in the original trilogy for like 5 minutes, and then he fell into Sarlacc pit.
Okay, so
it's kind of, you could say it's kind of tradition with Star Wars to just forget bounty hunters.
I mean, in a show about bounty hunters, that's not what you want. Thinking about it.
But then, I wouldn't say it's a show about bounty like his Mandalorian first, bounty hunter second, because not all Mandalorian are bounty hunters.
True. And
not all bounty hunters are Mandalorians. It's just that there's something they're good at to make money.
That's
true.
But it's a whole society, and the Mando, the Din Djarin, is from a very specific sect of the whole society.
Okay, so let's get down to the core of what you're telling me about the tracking fobs. Because every other bounty hunter is not Mandalorian, they're incompetent enough that they all simultaneously broke their tracking fobs so that Mando and Yoda can only be worried about the Empire for the entirety of season 2.
Could happen.
If we don't happen to them, how do we know they're not still there? Like, because they're not really given a minute's peace. It seems like they're chased throughout the entire show. So maybe I'm just not remembering very well, but I'm kind of a bit confused what the problem with the tracking fobs is, because they are still constantly chased.
Okay, so the difference in season 2 is that Mando is going from place to place looking for Jedi and Mandalorians who could lead him to the Jedi. He is not particularly chased in season 2. He happens to do things with people who are chased.
Okay.
So, Bo-Katan, or Bo-Katan, however you pronounce her name, is going after Imperial stuff. Ahsoka Tano is going after Thrawn, and Mando is just happened to be there while they were being chased. He himself was not being chased.
Alright. Okay.
So, considering the bounty is now 10 times higher, I guess all the bounty hunters just lost all their tracking fobs in between seasons, so fuck me for caring, I guess.
Or maybe they just gave up. You know, that's the questions that Mandalorian asks and leaves up for audience to answer.
Okay, so the writers being lazy is our job for us to fill in.
Or maybe it's just want to be thought provocative, and now we have the discussion about it, and that's exactly what they wanted.
Okay,
the thing I'm thinking is,
it's possible they also forgot.
Like, tracking fobs is one of the issues I have with the Mandalorian. But yeah, go on, Ilaria. What were you saying?
Well, the tracking fob tracks someone.
It tracks
creature,
Yoda specifically. Right? We saw it in episode 4 of season 1.
Yeah. But how? I mean, is there a chip? How do they track that Yoda?
They never explain it.
Yeah, I mean, it could be short range.
It could be that there is something on Yoda, and then the thing on Yoda gets broken. They take it out, something like that. I don't know.
Okay,
It
but
could be an explanation.
see, if that was the case, at least I'm not a big fan of The Boys Season 2, but at least The Boys Season 2 gave us a scene of them taking this very important plot point out of Starlight? Blonde girl with the
Starlight.
white... Yeah. At least because they know it was such an... Can't believe I'm praising The Boys Season 2, but at least they showed us this massive plot point that the reason why these characters are in danger is now no longer an issue. They show it to us. It is important. Whereas in Mandalorian, it's dropped, never to be brought up again.
Just happens.
Yeah. The only other thing I can think of is I've just looked up about them. They are short range, so maybe just people aren't in range of them.
But Mando had to go through light speed to get to short range. How short range is it? Because he had to go through
Doesn't
light
say.
speed to get to the planet he was in.
I don't know. I
Like,
was just
that's
saying
the
it's
thing.
possible that has something to do with it. I don't know. But like I say, I'm not disagreeing with you that it's a plot point. I'm just saying maybe it's just one that's very easy to ignore.
Okay.
I mean, it might be explained somehow in the future with a flashback or I don't know. I haven't watched the gallery yet, the one with all the backstage and they talk about
Okay,
props
so
and kind of stuff.
if you have to watch
don't know.
auxiliary material to figure out what's happening in the base show, you've done a pretty shit job of running your show.
I'm not disagreeing with you because we had the same issue when we were talking about Queen's Gambit. There was a thing where we were all speculating why this thing happened, and then it got to a point where it's like we shouldn't be speculating to get the story. So I kind of understand where you're coming from there, but like I say, I feel like for a lot of people, it's very easily forgettable.
I
And
know,
it doesn't
it is.
really detract.
I know it's very easy to forget because I seem to be like one of 5 people in the world that seems to not like the writing in this show, so I admit that I am in the minority here, but I just find it frustrating that people are willing to let it go.
You must look at it like, unlike, for example, Queen Gambit, Mandalorian is a part of like a big universe that has already stuff happened before and after it. And if you take to and if you like know and watch this other stuff, you know exactly what is going on and why, who is Bo-Katan, who are the other people, because it's kind of part of like the show trilogy, the TV show trilogy, because there's got a lot of recurring characters.
Okay,
and,
I'm gonna be honest with you. If Mandalorian was called Star Wars Rebels Part 2, I wouldn't have watched it because I don't want to do 6 seasons of homework to watch this show.
Yeah, but then, you know,
Fine.
Star Wars Rebels is just continuation of Clone Wars, really.
And that's why I didn't
And,
watch either of those shows.
And that's, you know, that then you can't complain.
Oh god, fuck me for caring, I guess. Jesus.
Assumed that they were always on the run because of the
Same, I thought they
scene
were
in
still
season
running.
2, and then also when Herzog was taken out, and he seemed to be the guy who was kind of the in between the Empire and the bounty hunters in the first season. And when he was taken out, I just kind of assumed that because Grief Karga was taking over a particular planet a bit, and the bounty hunting that was going on there, I just kind of assumed that they're always on the run by the bigger fish. As the Empire, like they were on the Empire's radar, like officially going after them, and I just assumed that it was hand in hand.
See, that's fine, but Mando didn't even know what's his face. Giancarlo Esposito was alive until like episode 4 of season 2.
Who's Giancarlo Esposito? Oh, Boba Fett, isn't it? That's him.
No, Moff.
No.
What's his Edgelord
Oh,
Moff?
Gideon.
Moff Gideon.
Yeah, him.
Oh, he met him in the last episode of season.
Yeah, I know, but-
alive again. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't. So if you're
He
assuming
was
that the
going to
Empire is
die.
chasing him because of Moff Gideon, and who until episode 4 he thought was dead, why would he be on the run from a person that he thought was dead?
Well, because it's the remnants of the Empire, which it's not like just Grand Moff.
Okay,
not
but
that.
Grand Moff was the one heading that operation.
Yes, but then the Empire after the films just gets split into a lot of factions of Empire, and could say that Moff Gideon is just one part of one faction.
Okay, so the point I'm making is OGD. You brought up the point that they were always on the run because you thought the Empire was chasing them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, my counter to that is Mando didn't even realize that that was a thing until season 2 of episode 4. That is my counter to that.
Yeah.
Right. So, oh my god, this is exhausting.
This is fun.
You've invited me. You can't complain.
You did this to yourself.
Yes, because I was genuinely fascinated by AD's perspective of just okay.
I also want to say, like, when I talk about Star Wars, what I said about Star Wars, that only specifically applies to Star Wars films and TV shows. Because
oh, you mean Star Wars related films and TV shows?
In the films and TV shows in Star Wars universe, because then if you want like complex Star Wars story, you go outside of that and you got billions of comic books and
Okay,
yeah.
But I keep saying I don't want something complicated. I just want something to make sense. That's all. That's all I've kept on saying this stream. Just makes sense. It's nothing complicated I want. It can literally be Mando just hunting a bounty, and that could be it for 8 episodes. I'll be satisfied. But it's not though, is it? That is the issue. And I don't even mind the fact that he goes from planet to planet. The only difference is that if you were going to have a Villain of the Week episode with... or a series of Villain of the Week episodes where we're going to this planet now, do an adventure, go to the next planet, that's fine. However, with Baby Yoda in both seasons, you've got a ticking time bomb, metaphorically speaking, which always make sure that you are on the run. So when they go off on a side mission, as they do a couple of times in season 2, I'm wondering why they go on side missions when the main mission is catching up to them. That's weird to me.
I think that's all how Dave Filoni makes stuff, because he likes to show some like cool parts of the universe that were not shown before on a screen. He does that a lot with like Clone Wars as well, and the Rebels. Like you have a lot of side missions in Clone Wars, like side stories in Clone Wars in Rebels. And one purpose is Clone Wars is a kids show, and they need to like put a lot of stuff there because like the light-hearted stories that are not like the main gritty storyline of the actual Clone Wars. And it does it as well. It shows different parts of the universe and some cool stuff that we've only read about in like books or something, and now you see it on a screen. Like, for example, I remember when I first borrowed from library like the Species Encyclopedia of Star Wars, and there was like a lot of information on every species of the Star Wars, and then I'm seeing all the information I've read in the books a long time ago on a screen, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
Like the Great Dragon, for example.
Oh, okay. The Great Dragon. Okay, what a whimsical episode that was. Okay. Right. I'm just... Okay. I'm really trying here, guys, to understand. Okay, so clearly we've all got different things that we care about when it comes to the Mandalorian. Not all of it's going to be the same thing. Fair enough. And it's pretty clear that what I like to see in a show is not always Star Wars or otherwise. Basic, making sense, not always required, and you guys are willing to overlook if you guys are having fun above all else.
I guess it depends on what it is, because like there are some things where I don't like the thing based on its
That's why I
story being
specifically
bad.
said Star Wars.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so
For me, I'm still quite new to it, so for me, a lot of the cases not really knowing what's going on, but just enjoying it anyway.
yeah, I mean, I've only watched the live action stuff myself. I've not watched. I think I watched a couple of episodes of Rebels and the original Clone Wars from like 2003, but that's it. Aside from
That's the rule of cool. Star Wars,
Yeah.
best example. The Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars.
oh yeah, like that was very well put together. I still have fond memories of the original Tartakovsky Clone Wars. What did I say?
You said Tarkovsky, that's the Soviet director. Tartakovsky.
That's what I said, Tartakovsky.
I understood Tarkovsky.
Oh.
You said Tarkovsky? Or
I said Tartakovsky.
It's Tartakovsky.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Excuse me?
Tartakovsky.
Okay, yeah, now I hear it.
Okay. God's sake, David.
I'm on you like a hawk today.
Ooh.
I doubt that. But anyway, I mean, I really don't think that there's much of a conversation to be had here because we care about two significantly different things here, David.
Okay, but I mean, it's still interesting to hear both viewpoints.
Yeah, and if I were to talk about story, about The Mandalorian, it's gonna have to be from the perspective of, okay, consistency. Does A follow to B? Does B follow to C? Does C follow to D? And I don't think that this is a show that you guys really want that from what I'm gathering.
I mean, it's
interesting.
We don't want it. It's interesting.
I would say needed. I would change want for need. We don't.
I'm also.
For me, at least, I would say.
Need. Okay.
Yeah. It's not needed. Also, I'm interested because a lot of the time, problems for things don't appear to me when I'm watching them. I find them later on. So there may be a case of you bring a point up and I might actually agree with it.
Okay.
It's a lot more. Yeah, it's difficult for me to find problems with things while I'm watching them.
All right. I'll tell you what. We'll change it up. Because I think I've come to terms with what you guys like in Star Wars media by this point, and I'm starting to formulate sentences in a cohesive manner again. So I'll bring up points which I think are issues in narrative, and you guys tell me whether you think whether it's an issue for you or not. How's that sound?
That
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Should we go from right to left again?
No. Just speak up whenever you want. I don't really give a shit. Because this is mainly going to be me listing issues and you guys telling me if you guys consider it an issue in Star Wars or if you're willing to overlook it for the sake of entertainment.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we going through episode by episode or just in
Episode by episode. Because it's gonna help me think.
Yeah. Also, like I said, I don't remember half of the episodes, so it's really hard for me to explain to you what I did or didn't like about it because I don't remember it properly.
That's fine. So I'll go through
this
them
is good
episode by
for me
episode and just let me know if you have an issue with it or not.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. So let's start where all wonderful things start, in episode uno. So, my first question is regarding the whistling birds that Mando has. Now, knowing how rare they are and that only one forge maker that we know Mando knows is able to create them using Beskar, which is one of the most rare materials in the entire galaxy at this point, unless you're willing to hit one of the Empire reserves. Out of curiosity, do you guys care? Do you guys feel the need for it to explain where Mando got a restock of whistling birds at the start of season 2 when we go right away into the boxing ring? Or do you just think it just he got them and that's all we need to know?
I think that it would have been nice if it was explained. I feel like it might have added something there and it might have justified it, but I'm okay overlooking it.
Yeah, same.
I'm saying the rule of cool here. It looks cool.
David,
don't
I have a
care.
feeling every answer is going to be rule of cool with you.
It looks cool. It looks cool.
I mean, yeah, I don't deny it looks cool. I would not have an issue with the whistling birds at all if it's treated like his guns or any blaster in the Star Wars universe, where it's a blaster, it's common, he can get it anywhere. If they're treated that way, I would have much less of an issue. My big issue comes from, oh, these are very particularly rare, and one, whatchamacallit, made them for Mando in the entirety of the series so far, and he's constantly getting restocked on them, and I would like to know where he gets them from, that's all.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Ilaria. Like, it would be nice to know, but at the same time, it's not like, it's not gonna stop me from watching it if I don't know the answer to that.
This
Yeah,
is
it
like
didn't stop me from not watching it either. I mean, I still watched it. My question is, does it bother you or does it not? I think that's a more...
No.
Okay,
no.
cool.
No, but I do understand why it could bother you.
Yeah.
Cool. Righto then. Oh, I had mistakenly switched the stream back to the cover page. Una momento, por favor. David, you sent a message. Let me see what you said. It
He
raised
said
questions,
it raised questions.
but it didn't bother me. Gotcha. Righto then. Onward to the next thing. Right. And then, okay. So, what do you think of Mando's word? Do you think he's honest? Do you think he's by the book? Does he stick to his word? And is he honorable?
I mean, I would say so. I mean, I
Ilaria?
don't think he sticks to his
Oh.
word because obviously he went back on the whole situation with Grogu.
No, I mean with regards to if he tells someone he's gonna do something, will he do it? Will he stick to his word with regards to that? Like when it comes to a certain job or whatnot, it's like if he says, "All right, this is what we'll do, and I promise you I'll do this," will
Yeah,
he do
I
it?
would say so.
Okay. What do you, the rest of you think?
No. I think he should just do what he wants most of the time.
I
Oh.
think it depends.
Okay, what he wants in what sense?
What he seemed like, he changes opinions about people and stuff he has to do sometimes, and it happens more and more the more we move through series, I guess. And I wouldn't say 100% stuck to his word every time in a show.
Okay, cool. And
Yeah, I agree. I agree with David, but I also want to say that sometimes, maybe there's an issue there that sometimes I feel. So he's portrayed as this very honorable man that always sticks to his word, but then I feel like, especially in season 2, most times than not, he was not sticking to his word, and he was kind of maybe it was a part of becoming less Mandalorian in the sense of stick up his ass Mandalorian and more
Yeah.
and more. Oh, actually, I care about this kid. Really care about this kid. So maybe it was that, or maybe it was just bad writing. Who knows?
Okay, cool. And OG David, what is your perspective? I know you can't speak at the moment, but a friendly little message will do, and I shall read it out. He is typing. Dun 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 dun. Ba-da! Yeah, I fall on the same camp as Ilaria here. Not very honorable, all the way from season 2 start, where he tells a guy, I will let you go if you tell me, and then proceeds to feed him to dogs. Not very honorable. So, fair
Then
enough.
it never says anywhere that he has to be honorable. Like he's a bounty hunter and he moves in the underworld.
Okay,
He's,
so the reason why I asked the question of honor or not is because that's what Mandalorians, in the larger sense, are known as. They stick to their word and they do what they say they're going to do, which is why they like having Mandalorians as bounty hunters, because they will do what they say they will do. And that's also what Fish Lady in episode 2 does to get him to work on the ship when he's trying to sleep. So that's why I bring up that issue. Oh, David, I think he tries his best. Fair enough.
I would agree with that one. I think he tries, but I think sometimes he just it's not. He can't completely follow his word.
Yeah, I mean, there's worse ways to go than feeding people to dogs, I guess. You could be in the same room as Ramsay Bolton. Any Game of Thrones fans know that issue, know that reference. Aha!
Oof.
He says
It's
that he
Batman
won't.
Begins logic.
He says he won't kill the. Okay, so David brings up a good point. It's the Batman Begins logic. So the difference here, David, is that in Batman Begins, Ra's al Ghul set the conditions up himself, whereas Mando specifically created the conditions for this guy's death. Batman is indirectly linked to Ra's al Ghul's death because he let him die, whereas Mando specifically created the situation that caused this guy's death. So he is far more active in his murder than Batman is. But that is a good point, though. I will give you that. Okay, so that's one more issue. Right. Moving along. Okay, who else liked this guy, this Tatooine lady? I couldn't stand her.
Tatooine lady.
The
one where is this the one
The one
where
with
he
the
has
droids.
to...
Yeah, I couldn't stand her.
Oh, Tatooine lady. Yeah, she's a little bit annoying. David does not like.
Okay, thank God. I thought I was the only one. I was like, oh
No,
God.
yeah, I was very much like, why are you back? Go away.
It's like, I feel like there's a seasonal contract with Tatooine. Once a season, they have to come back to this fucking planet. Right.
I don't know. I have neutral feelings about her.
Same, I'm indifferent.
Oh.
I could have lived without her, but
Okay, well, depending on how things go, either my PC will crash or we'll be able to keep on streaming.
Okay.
your PC will be like, I've had enough of this.
She got on my nerves quite a bit, and I did groan when I saw her.
Yeah.
I've liked Amy Sedaris in other things, but I can't say I'm a fan of Pelly. I didn't even know that was her name, by the way.
No, I didn't know her name. I just when you said Tatooine lady and then droids, I was like, oh, I know who you mean.
Cool. Okay, right. So after that, they get the speeder and he heads off to Mars, wherever it is. Now I find this Mars quite fascinating because they already knew that there was a quote-unquote Leviathan there hunting the grounds, and yet they decide to build the city there anyway. So, logically speaking, either the resources there are rich enough that they're making huge amounts of profit over the course of multiple. Oh, sorry, David.
Didn't they say it was a mining colony like back in the day?
Back in the day, yes, this is true.
And I would just say it's just because people just are used to, you got that in the real world as well, where people just live in a not very good condition just because they were born there and they don't want to move away.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, if you're willing to set up a mine in a place that's being haunted by an Arrakis, I mean, fair enough. I mean, you can deal with it for a generation, you can deal with it for future generations, I guess.
That's just human behavior, I would say. If we have like examples of similar stuff in real life.
Oh, we have. In Italy, it's full of them, of people building houses where you're not supposed to build houses, and then the houses fall because there's an earthquake, and the houses are not made in the way where they do not fall when there's an earthquake. It's full of them. It's an issue based on reality issues, I think.
You have people living in like active war zones, like in Ukraine. You have like just old people living in a village that's literally on the border front line, and there's like artillery shells and mine every day, and they just live there because they were born there and they don't want to move away.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll concede that one. Humans are dipshits, aren't they?
Yeah.
I feel sorry for this barkeeper. Every single time he gets things cleaned up, another person comes along and shoots it up for him.
That's just Western logic of Star Wars, though.
I know, that's why I do enjoy the bartender. I will give it that. Right, so we got Cobb Vance coming in, being Timothy Oliphant.
I agree with OG David said that's Western logic in general. It's like, yeah, you kind of do get that in Western films. Like,
yeah, and I enjoy it. That's what I'm agreeing with you guys there. It's like, God, Dad, nabbit, I just fixed this thing up and you're shooting it up again. Why'd your kids keep coming here? Okay, so this is a very, 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 very minor issue, but when these two are riding their bikes and Timothy Oliphant doesn't have the helmet, I get it. You've got the Oliphant, you want to show him off like the pretty little playboy that he is. I get it. This is a nitpick, but I think it should still count as a criticism. When you are riding a bike at very high velocities without a helmet, never mind keeping your eyes open, you're not going to be able to hear anything besides. So every time he is speaking about this emotional moment where his village got captured by these slavers, all I can imagine Mando saying is, "What?" Just constantly trying to figure out what Cobb Vance is trying to tell him, because the dipshit isn't wearing his helmet, so I can't even say, oh, he's wearing communicators, but no, he's just being his gorgeous self, which is fine.
Yeah, but then this is just the movie logic. You can nitpick that in like a lot of stuff.
And that's why it's a nitpick.
You can nitpick for Star Wars. They have explosions in space, or that lasers makes explosions.
Okay, but that being said, a nitpick shouldn't just be discounted altogether. A nitpick is still a criticism.
Yeah, but then we like, I talked about this in my bachelor work that in the over the 100-something years we have cinema, there has been kind of a movie reality established where some stuff are not exactly how they are in the real life. And I think riding bikes without helmets and not having mom flies around all over your face on in teeth, or just speaking and stuff like that, That's one of those things, just as like muzzle flashes that we actually see them, and other, these little things that bend the rules of real world just a little bit.
Yeah, and that's why I relegate it to a nitpick as opposed to full blown criticism. Like, it's a nitpick, but that's all it'll ever be.
I have a justification for that. So if any of you is familiar with The Good Place, we know that Timothy Oliphant was in one episode. So I think he's got this power voice that was granted by the judge, and that's why he's like magic, and he doesn't really need a communication device, because he's just like is magic. The judge granted him this power voice or whatever magic thing he has, because he's Timothy Oliphant.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Timothy Oliphant is
Totally.
magic. That's why. Okay,
It's magic.
fair enough.
I think that's a good explanation.
Yeah,
Okay.
the rule of Timothy Oliphant.
Okay, cool. Right, so these people who invade his village, they're slavers, wanting to keep the village so that they can have slaves. Fair play. And then, interesting that they're shooting civilians in order to do that, but, fair enough. And also, surviving in a desert for a few days without food and water, like Timothy Oliphant is apparently an alpha Chad, so fair.
Again, power granted by the judge.
Yeah, I mean, we just established that Timothy Oliphant is magical. I mean, could you imagine if Baby Yoda came to Timothy Oliphant instead of Mando? This show would be much shorter.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so I'm curious. Is it ever established how Boba Fett lost his armor? In any Star Wars? Because I don't know.
Don't.
Okay.
Well-
Which episode are we on at this point?
Still one.
But
Really?
we're season 2, episode 1 now, right?
We're still in season 2, episode 1. I'll let you know when we go to the next one.
Okay, fine. Because I was like, when have we moved the episode yet?
No, because Cobb Vance is wearing his armor.
There is like a whole comic book, massive book about Boba Fett adventures that I haven't read whole. It might be there.
David, do they explain it in anything? OG
They say
David?
in the show they say he found it in like scrap was it Java traders.
Yeah, I know. I'm just wondering how Boba Fett lost it in the first place, if it's ever explained in any capacity in anything. OG David is typing. Oh, I am waiting in anticipation. Ho 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 ho. But yeah, do you know what? Now that I know that Timothy Oliphant is a mystical being that has the ability to use magic, this episode is making a lot more sense now. So, retroactively, thank you, Ilaria. I don't think it's been fully explained. I know Cobb's character is from... Oh, okay. Interesting. So he's from the Aftermath trilogy. And he had the armor there. Okay, so...
I just want to point out that Boba Fett fell into Sarlacc pit multiple times.
Multiple times?
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know that. I guess the Sarlacc pit selectively spits out Boba Fett remains, so... Okay, fair enough. It's like, I guess it's the cherry trick with the knot, you know, you spit out the body and then the armor, so I can get behind that.
Also, maybe it will be explained in the series that they're making about Boba Fett.
Oh
Could be.
god. Well, one can hope. Okay, so I'm out of curiosity. When it comes to the actual killing of the Arrakis at the end of the episode, what was the first thing you guys thought they would do? I'm curious.
I thought they were gonna feed him at first, like with the explosive. Would they?
Okay, fantastic. You have seen more than 2 TV shows. Ilaria?
I don't know. I mean, like, I didn't know. I wasn't expecting anything. I was just like, okay, guess that's happening. So I was like,
Okay. And Amy?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was gonna happen either. I was just like, that's a thing.
Okay, so David, I agree with OG David. What did you think was going to happen while I regale David with my yes, I thought they were simply going to feed it as well, but instead we had a long action sequence. And okay, how did you react along the way, David? I'm curious.
I was like, interesting plan. We'll see what happens, and I was just definitely a move for like make it more dramatic. That was like a drama move, to, like up the, what's the word? The stakes, to, like make it more dramatization. But yeah, I thought they were gonna feed him, but again, rule of cool for me.
All right, so that's interesting, David, because and
I'm just laughing at David's comment.
yes, if they did have Ant-Man, it would be so much simpler. But that's interesting, AD, because while it was rule of cool for you, I was just screaming at the TV, going, "Just feed the fucker! You've got a Bamfer right there, Mando. You're indestructible. Just feed him. Just feed him. Just feed him for 15 minutes." And it was kind of a frustrating 15 minutes because you're shouting the obvious. Because at this point in time, it's gotten to the point where feeding the thing to blow it up from the inside is becoming such a meme. But this show, bless its heart, treated it 100% straight. I don't know if it should be rewarded or not. But yeah, because of that issue, because I was constantly frustrated with them not doing the obvious thing and doing the thing that would save the most lives, I was incredibly frustrated with everything that they were doing during the final battle in episode 1. So by the time it finished, it was more like fucking finally, rather than oh, that was cool for me. So
Fair enough.
yeah.
I'm trying to remember it and I'm having trouble, so
Was it that memorable?
I guess not for me.
But yeah, and at the end of that, we get to see Aquaman's dad at the end of the episode, looking grim and pissed off, which is cool. Boba Fett, by the way, because he plays Aquaman's dad as well, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I haven't seen Aquaman.
I haven't either.
You're simultaneously not missing much, yet you're missing everything at the same time by not seeing it. It's a fascinating movie.
It's on my to-watch list. Like I said, it's been a while since I've watched any DC movies because I got put off them very much by Batman vs Superman.
I mean, like I said,
they're just there, waiting for me to watch.
Like I said, you're not missing much at all. Okay, so that's among some of the issues I have with season 1. Episode 1, rather. So to contrast that, what did you guys like most about episode 1?
The season 2, episode 1?
Season 2, episode 1.
Okay. I'll let someone else talk.
I have to recollect the episode, so I'm just opening it up on Disney Plus just to scroll through, because the first part of season 2 I kind of binged it, so I don't really know where one begins and the other ends.
Oh
yeah,
my.
same. That's why I'm like, are we still on episode 1? Because I just binged it in one go, and now I'm having trouble remembering what bit happened where.
I like that it showed cooperation between people and the Tusken. And, because we only saw them so far as like, savage people that like try to just raid. They're not just only the bad guys in that episode.
Okay, so again, this is a nitpick, so it doesn't really affect the episode too much. But I'm curious, David, how do the Sand People communicate? Is it through sign language, through screaming, or both?
There was this well, the sound they make is their language, and also hand gestures. Like I'm just hand gestures. Some other languages have hand gestures as well to help communicate.
Yeah,
Like
Italian.
So
And
okay, so do you use them in conjunction with each other in Italian? Like, do you communicate words through your hand gestures while you're saying it through words? This is just genuinely me being curious.
Oh, you can do both. I mean, like, if you can't talk, I can tell you, like, I can tell to another Italian, let's just go out of this room without saying anything, with a simple hand gesture. Or if I need to say, what do you want? What do you mean? I can just say it without saying it with my hands. Or it can be both things. I'm saying it and I'm doing it with my hands. We use a lot our hands when we talk normally, and majority of those gestures don't have a meaning. But just to emphasize, and I'm doing it now, but nobody can see me. But I can, like, there are some gestures that I can communicate only with my hands without making any sound.
All right, interesting. Cool. And okay, so David is agreeing with David, and I will not tell you which David is agreeing with which David. That is for you to find out. And Amy, Ilaria, are you ready to share your thoughts on what you liked about episode 1?
Yeah, I think
I'm just going through it as well because I can't remember it. I'm trying.
For me, it was two things. First one was when Timothy Oliphant came up, and I was like, "Oh, that's Timothy Oliphant," and and the second thing, I mean, they're like very small things, but I loved Grogu inside the vase, popping the head out and then going back in. That was just like cute. It's like the little things. But yeah, like, to me, the things that I usually like about any episode of any show is like those little things that I carry with me, or something that gives me an emotion, provokes an emotion in me.
Yeah, I always enjoy it when he's like, shit's going down, I'ma hide. So I'm like, that would be me in that situation.
I mean, I hope that's any baby, to be honest. Any baby should hide in that moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so Timothy Oliphant and
it's very cute.
Baby Yoda. Fair enough. And
I also really like the campfire scene.
Which one?
The one where they're talking. I don't remember it well, but I think they're talking, and
is
Timothy
it the one
Oliphant,
with Oliphant or without Oliphant?
with Oliphant. That he keeps interrupting, and I just love that.
Okay, cool. And
see, OG David agrees with me. Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah, I mean, I like seeing Agent 47 on screen too, so, I mean, yeah, it was okay.
I don't really have anything that specifically stands out for the episode. I just remember when I watched it, I didn't have a problem with it.
Okay, fair.
But nothing really stuck out. Like, obviously, Timothy Oliphant is a very pretty man, so that was enjoyable.
Okay, so to bounce off of that, what did you guys like most about episode 2? The one where he's helping Fish Lady across in the ice cave with the giant spiders.
Yeah, I didn't like that episode. It is.
I love the fish lady. Like, The fish lady, yeah, the kind of frog. Was it the one with the frog?
Yeah, that's
Wait,
the Frog Lady episode, yeah.
Frog lady. Yeah, she is cool.
She's got a cool design, and I love the design of the
It looks
spiders in the
funky.
ice cave, but that's about the extent of the things I love go in the show. In the episode, I mean.
The ice spiders freaked me out. I was just like, no. That's a big nope.
It had the best water simulation ever on a screen, that episode. When they're pulling out the ship of the water.
I did like when Grogu was eating
Wait.
one of the eggs, because I was like, I'm just getting alien vibes from that.
Isn't that episode 3 though, David, when they go to Mon Calamari?
How might be? Yeah,
Yeah.
well, sorry.
Yeah, but I do agree that water simulation was very good. But yeah, we haven't gotten there quite yet, David. Yeah, jumping ahead of time. My God, how could you?
Yeah. I was
I,
just
I,
saying.
I like the. Sorry, you go. You go.
It's okay. I was just saying that when Grogu starts eating, like, there's an egg, I think, when they're in the ice caves, and Grogu starts eating, and I'm like, I am just getting alien vibes from this.
I'm not gonna lie, when Grogu was eating throughout the entire episode, I was partially mortified by Grogu.
I was a bit like eggs whenever he finds, like, he likes to eat live eggs.
Yeah.
And I was very much like, is he gonna get the eggs on the ship, like, by the end of the episode and just eat them all? Because that would suck.
Oh my God, I would genuinely be horrified if that happened. Like, this sentient species, the last of her bloodline, just wiped out because baby Grogu just wanted a fucking
Got
breakfast.
hungry.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, Grogu, you just committed genocide. What the hell, dude? I can imagine getting to the dad and him being like, Jack, Hannah, Mary, what happened to our children? And there's Grogu in the back with an egg going, like, oh,
No.
like I was actually
I'm
like,
sorry, my child ate them.
yeah, I was actually not cool with Baby Yoda eating the eggs at all. In the
I
episode,
wasn't cool with him eating them, but it was just while he was eating the egg of the spider, I was like, I'm getting alien vibes. Is Grogu gonna get, like, face hugged?
do you know
I thought
what?
he was really cute eating the eggs. I mean, I understand, like, to me, I saw it as a kid. The kids, they put everything in their mouths, and
Okay, so
like,
this is true.
Wait.
Kids do put everything in their mouth. I used to eat soil way back in the day. That's not the issue here. But it's like, knowing that this is the last of her line, I find it very, very weird that this fish lady is not keeping her precious eggs with her, where she knows they're safe, and not locking it, letting a baby get in there. Like, I find the entire situation just weird. And this species can only live in a single planet, yet they're perfectly fine in an ice planet and a desert planet when water planet is the only planet they can live in.
Isn't it the eggs can hatch, not they can live?
What?
Wasn't it that the eggs can live in one single planet to hatch, not like the species when they're adult?
No, she said species. It's the only hospitable planet for their species. That's what she said in episode 2.
Didn't she say like hospitable though for the... I'm pretty sure she said, she at least like, I understood it as like hospitable for like the act of them actually growing up and you like get out of the egg.
Wow, this species is really not equipped to live in Star Wars, is it?
There's a lot
If
of
that's the
species
situation. But yeah, like if I was a father and those were the last of my kids, I'd want to keep them pretty close, but she's letting it over there, and without even a lock on. I find it really weird.
I mean, I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
be like,
Parenting on her part.
And okay, maybe this is in one of the expanded material, but what's this? How does the light speed thing affect the babies? Because I have zero idea how that works. Like, why does the light speed kill the babies?
Well, the light speed, it's
David assumed
Ah.
Splat.
No, it's traveling like through time and space as well. So basically, you kind of in Star Wars when you travel to light speed, you kind of move in like a through separate universe. Like it creates the tunnel universe between the 2 points that you move through, and it's
Like a
just
wormhole.
they're like yeah, it's like a wormhole. You're not in the same universe, and that's why like what can happen when someone pulls you out of the universe, like the wormhole. You just there's like big chance you just get absolutely splattered, and it's not like perfect traveling, but it's like the only fast traveling that they have, and I can imagine that they're just not equipped for that. The X it could just hurt them. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are species that can't do the light speed travel in Star Wars universe.
Okay.
He actually does eat one of the eggs. I just realized. Oh my god, Grogu, you're a monster.
He
He
eats
eats
like
more
4
than-
of them.
Yeah, he's like 4 or 5
I
of the eggs.
forgot he actually ate some of them. I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was like
The episode ends with him eating one with the mother right next to him.
I guess she's just like, that's okay, I have more.
It's okay. It's only Johnny. I didn't like him anyway. He's the kid that's always making trouble for the others, you know. So eat him. That's fine. Okay.
God. She is such a bad parent, I'm sorry.
I mean, well, Mando isn't exactly great in terms of protecting them and parenting either in that moment. So everyone's a bad parent in this episode. Yeah.
the light speed
Okay.
is not as complicated as the traveling in Dune, but it's also not as simple. That's why.
Okay. Right. So, what do you mean by space and time, though?
You're because
Help
you're
me understand.
you're not only moving through space, but you're basically moving in such a big distance that it should aid you, but it doesn't.
Okay, so is this your theory, or is this something that is established in Star Wars lore?
It's established. I can link you YouTube video.
Oh, fantastic.
I'll just send it to you on Facebook now, and
Okay, cool. If it's a part of Star Wars lore, and that's how
it is part of Star Wars.
it
I explained
works.
it much worse than it actually is, but there is.
Okay, so it bends space and time to get there. So it's not teleport, you're just traveling insane amounts of distances in a short amount of time. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Right,
Because you travel faster than light.
Well, fair enough, I guess. Right. Well, rip any babies, I guess. Oh, well, in case anyone wants to see baby Grogu, eating, here you go. Muhahaha. Whee! Then, there we go. Just showed everyone baby Grogu committing genocide. Right.
I've sent you the video on Facebook.
As you do.
Fantastic. I shall have a look at it after the stream is done.
Just
okay,
mind
so-
you, it might not make scientifically much sense.
Okay, so it doesn't need to make scientific sense for me. As long as it is consistent in this universe, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Okay. I don't need it to be realistic. As long as it makes sense in universe, I'm fine.
Yeah. The video explains it quite well.
Alright, cool. I'll have a look at it later. It's funny, when I said there are some characters in the show I just do not like, I think I was speaking specifically about Pelly. I mean, okay. I don't know what to do with that, David, but I'll take your word for it. Or maybe I just read it wrong.
Just Pelly on its own.
Okay,
on
cool.
her own.
So, what else did you guys like about the show besides the design of the spiders, the design of the frog lady, Baby Yoda genocide?
Of episode 2.
Yeah.
I like how episode 2 kind of sort of goes into horror movie territory just for a little bit when they're trying to get away from the spiders.
I fast forwarded and it literally landed on what the original thumbnail for this stream was, and I was like, oh, I'm pleased with myself. But yeah, it was very
Gave me horror movie vibes. And like I said, I was getting alien vibes from it.
yeah, especially with the reveal of the eggs in the cave.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and these pilots, absolute dipshits, saves Mando and then leaves him there with an exposed hull in his ship and says, if we see you again, we'll kill you.
Like, yeah, sure, okay. Thank
Very
you.
interesting
Very
choice. Okay, so if we're following the logic here, they found out that Mando tried to save one of their people because he wasn't having it in Bill Burr's season 1 episode. And then later on in that same episode, he leaves 3 of the people behind so that they can imprison them later on in the show, which is cool. I still find that if he was going there with the specific intent of springing a person, which he actually did do, he should get some sort of punishment for it, but I guess they're just cool with people being sprung out of jail. The Republic is very forgiving, I've found. You know, commit crimes and spring members out of jail and you can just get away with a slap of the wrist. So, and they left him in the middle of nowhere, just saying goodbye, which is great. The Republic isn't painted in a very positive light from this show, despite the heroic music, as far as I'm concerned. Oh,
I just guess that was their order. Yeah, no, you go.
No. I was just going to read David's message. I love Paul Son Hyun Lee. He seems like a really nice guy. He plays one of the pilots, and the other is Dave Filoni. I knew Dave Filoni, didn't know who Mr. Miyagi was, but good to know that you knew. Yes, David.
Well, like the Mandalorian show takes place mainly in like the Outer Rim, which is like the backwater of the galaxy where neither Empire or Republic have much influence and everyone's for himself. And if there's only 2, I mean, the New Republic in that time is pretty new and they don't have much resources. And if it's only these 2 pilots, like we only see these 2 pilots, we can safely assume they don't have like much personnel out there. That's also why they later recruited a jumper lady. And if it's only 2 of them, they pretty much probably have like a lot in their plate and have their orders. And so they don't really have any obligation to help him.
Okay, they don't have an obligation to help him, but this is an actual known criminal according to their database.
Yeah, so they just left him there, but they don't have an obligation to help him. And so where are they going to put him anyway? They have only 2 X-Wings. And there was 3 of them, plus the X.
Okay, so circumstances not great. Fair enough. Now, you've mentioned something interesting about what's her face? Fucking hell, Gina Carano being recruited by them.
Yes, the Marshal.
Yes, she is the Marshal of X Bounty Hunter planet. Considering she was on the run from both the Republic and the Empire for war crimes that results in her having multiple life sentences, why is she being given martial status?
Circumstances again, you know, that they need to establish, like, you know, it's like when in Second World War, the Americans like pardoned Nazi Germany scientists to go work for them. The same principle.
Did you just compare Marshall Dune to a Nazi scientist? Because I think that's kind of cool.
It's the principle. Like you have someone skilled, and the outer rim is just this wild west where everybody fares for himself, and neither the Empire or Republic have like a controlled area really. It's very everyone for themselves, and so they have this skilled person there that can be as useful as it. So they just pardon her, and it's a logical step. What I would say if I would be in a government that was in a position like that.
Okay, fair enough, I guess. Okay, so would you be okay with giving Ted Bundy a sheriffhood of a town?
I don't know who Ted Bundy is.
Oh, a massive serial killer in the US, necrophilia, all sorts of stuff.
He's not a nice dude.
But what's his face from High School Musical played him in a movie. So hey, Zac Efron, that's the fucker.
Mm-hmm.
He's on Kim's Convenience.
Well,
again, David, I'll take your word for it. I've never seen the show or film.
I would not, because he doesn't possess any. I wouldn't say he possesses any skill. If it's just like a serial murderer, like the lady has the skills that they need at the time, which is mean being proficient in combat and could take care of herself in this like wild world, and could actually maintain some order because she's like a jumper. She has the training for it. I don't know if Ted Bundy had a training for being like a sheriff in a town.
Probably not, since he just kind of murdered a bunch of people.
I mean, plenty of sheriffs have murdered people. That's not anything new.
But I feel like given like he's a serial killer and kind of in terms of it didn't seem like it was very much. It got worse and worse, so it seemed like he wasn't in control of killing, if that makes any sense. Like, she's been trained to kill, whereas he enjoys it, and it's kind of like a hobby to him. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yes, David, the conversation has taken a turn.
I compare it to scientists because they were looking specifically for scientists. Like they had the skill set, so
Yeah.
and they considered at the time that it outweighs that they were, worked for like worst people ever.
Okay, so then that brings up a whole different issue of what we consider ethical between each other, and that's a whole different conversation altogether from The Mandalorian. So
Yeah, I'm not.
let's
I'm,
move
not-
on.
I'm not saying it's ethical. I'm not saying it's ethical. I'm just saying that it's the same principle.
Yes, okay. The New Republic are the Americans and the Imperials are the... I mean, that is what the allegory was in the original film. So, wow, Mandalorian is a lot darker than I remember it being. Yeah, they stabilized the cockpit, and yeah, it was weird. This episode, Mando was pretty narcoleptic in this episode, just falling asleep all over the place, which is weird. But I guess he needed to catch up on 2 seasons worth of sleep, so
Yeah, give him any rest.
he doesn't have that opportunity. Okay, so what do you guys like most about episode 3? This is the what's her face? Bo-Katan, the Katie Sackhoff episode.
Yeah, Bo-Katan.
Okay, so what do you guys like about that episode?
I will have to re-look at it.
I like that it, like Bo-Katan, because of who she is, and she's like, at that point in the Dave Filoni TV show trilogy, she is a very well developed character. But you don't know
Right,
because
so
you didn't do,
I needed
you
to
didn't
have
do your
watched it.
homework.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So, right, I was just a bad Star Wars fan for not understanding her story. Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, I mean, if they had let me know ahead of time, I would have just ignored the show, like I said. But, no, it's good to know late than never. So, yes, she's a well-developed character across the shows rather than Mando, and
Yeah, but it's same as Boba Fett. You wouldn't know who Boba Fett is if you didn't watch the original films in this TV show.
I have to say, this episode, I think it was maybe the least interesting to me of the season 2. Maybe because I didn't know very much about the character of Bo-Katan, because I haven't watched the animation series. The scene though that stick out to me is Baby Yoda eating the soup. That's just the scene that sticks out to me. And funnily enough, Assistant David for my birthday gave to me as a present little action figures. Let's call them action figures of Baby Yoda, and one of them is eating the soup. So yeah, so it's one of my favorite scenes of Baby Yoda overall.
I don't know
the 2
why.
seasons.
I just expected you to say, David made me a bowl of soup for my birthday, and I was like, wait, okay, fair enough.
Well, he would have if we were in the same country, but we are not. So
I'm pretty good at making soups.
he is. He's
I
very,
believe
he
you.
makes excellent.
You did used to be a chef, didn't you?
Yeah.
Awesome. I remember the bit where Baby Yoda gets chucked into the water, and I was like, yep, saw that coming. Because they're like, oh, maybe he wants to move a bit closer, and I'm like, you're going to throw him in the water.
Okay, so...
Wasn't very subtle.
Oh god, yeah, that scene. Right, I'm curious. What do you guys think of I guess this is my biggest issue with the show. What's your issue? How do you see stormtroopers? Like, how do you view them?
I'd never take them seriously.
Why? I'm curious.
I'm not too sure. I feel like it's just because they never seem really, like, they always seem to die very easily.
Recently, yes, I agree with you. Yeah, cool. And what about you two, David and Ilaria?
I understand why the stormtroopers are still the only force left fighting for the remnants of the Empire, because that's the lore and the homework and stuff like that. But in the universe, in the Empire, because it's big and we don't show many parts of it, the stormtroopers are supposed to be elite, kind of elite fighting force, I was Marines, what I don't know, Marines are for US
Yeah,
Army.
Special Forces, Marines. Yeah,
They're supposed to be special forces, because they're not they're also, the Empire also have the normal troopers, which we see actually in Han Solo in the beginning. In Solo, the film, he's
I can't remember that film at all.
At the beginning, he's at the normal soldier uniform, and there's only normal soldiers around them, not the stormtroopers.
Okay, so stormtroopers are the trained ones.
Yeah, and they're the one that have more, I would say, allegiance to the Empire, and that's why they're the leftovers. And you could say that if someone's a stormtrooper, he's pretty committed to the Empire.
Okay, cool. And Ilaria?
I don't know. I mean, are we talking in The Mandalorian specifically, or in general?
In general and The Mandalorian specifically. Both.
In The Mandalorian, I feel like they're a bit treated as
Cannon fodder.
Yeah.
What, sorry?
Cannon fodder.
Yeah.
They're there to be
Target practice, basically.
That's
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
That's what I mean. That's why I don't take them seriously.
Yeah, they're a bit okay, we have them, but we also kind of just wanna just use them for our own things, shoot them and whatever. They don't seem very bright either.
No, they are very stupid in The Mandalorian. I will give you that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Definitely.
I feel like they lost a bit of that scary. We're an army. We're scary people of the original
Yeah,
films.
definitely agree with you there.
Good. I feel this way too. And it doesn't help that in season 1 you had the fucking meme of can't hit anything just constantly
yeah.
being shoved in our faces.
Yeah,
Because-
especially when he's like, I'm good at shooting, I used to work for the Empire, and they're like, oh, okay.
Because now, every time they say they've got a platoon of stormtroopers, I'm thinking, okay, so that's like, what, 2 minutes tops? You'll be fine. Whereas, if it was in the original trilogy, I'd be like, ooh, it would be interesting how they're going to figure it out, move around them, what strategy are they going to use. Whereas in this, it's like, you don't even need to take cover, just walk at them and you'll beat them. So none of the battles had any excitement whatsoever for me.
I think that's the Star Wars problem in general, that when George Lucas envisioned them, like the design of them were like that because he needed, just empty enemies that the heroes can shoot at, and we wouldn't feel bad because we
Okay,
don't see any
true.
human faces.
True, the design is for that purpose, but at least in the original trilogy, they had some threat. They could injure our heroes, so they had to be clever about how they beat the stormtroopers. Whereas this, in The Mandalorian, I'm pretty sure a naked Jar Jar Binks with a wet towel can beat 100 stormtroopers.
Could be.
Probably. That's an
That's-
image I never ever wanted.
And now you have it.
Yeah.
You are welcome.
And I thank you so much.
Although, that being said,
It also
Just what I
could be
wanted.
like from the lore perspective that some of the this could not be like all the elite stormtroopers could be pretty much dead or just went away.
Okay.
And these are just like they don't have the Empire don't have the facilities to make proper training.
I would take that into consideration if it wasn't the fact that when the heroes in the Bill Burr episode 6 or 7, when they're transporting the Rhydonium, which they managed to get 100% accuracy on all the tribesmen, but when they're aiming at the heroes, they were missing everything within 10 minutes of each other. Same soldiers. So I can't exactly take that on board.
Yeah, it's just a rule of cool then.
Of course it is.
Cool.
Okay, so Ilaria, what did you think of them overall, the stormtroopers? Because that was your answer for in The Mandalorian specifically.
Yeah, I did say that in the films, especially like the original films, they seemed more like trained in a strategy and tactical way, and let's say they never strike me as the brightest people ever, but they had more of we're a big army and there is a chance that we're gonna kick your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically I think what's changed in this in the going into the Mandalorian. But then obviously, I mean, even in the movies, you know that the stormtroopers are not gonna win because you know they are the enemy. So,
I mean, in the same vein, you know Frodo's gonna drop the ring in the volcano. We know the outcome. It's what creative way the heroes come up with to beat the obstacle that's interesting.
I mean, in the original film, the stormtroopers can walk through the door without bopping their head.
Oh, I love that.
And David just written the same thing.
Yep. That is
Yeah.
really funny.
But it's
And also, I will remember that in the original film, like a squad of stormtroopers ran away from screaming Han Solo just because he was screaming.
Yeah.
True. This is true. Oh, I'm having to pay attention to four different things, and it's really, really
And
fascinating.
they were beaten by Ewoks, which had like coconut weapons. in the original trilogy.
I'm not a big fan of that particular battle, but even in that battle, they managed to injure the heroes to some degree. Like, even then, they had more of a threat level than they do now. Because,
But then in Rogue One, they were pretty, cool.
oh my
I
god, I
haven't
love
seen
Rogue One.
yet.
I really like Rogue
I
One.
have to watch it.
The only Star Wars film that portrayed stormtroopers as a credible threat, in my opinion. But then again, it has been about 4 years since I've seen the film, so who knows how that opinion holds up. But yeah, to finish my point, like, we know the heroes are gonna win. That's a given, but it's what creative way the heroes can win. In the Death Star, when they were busting Princess Leia out of the cage, it's okay, we're pinned, what are we gonna do? We gotta sneak out. Cool, we go through the sewers. In Empire, how are we gonna get away from the Empire? Okay, we gotta hide, we gotta pick our moments, go through the asteroid field, all that sort of stuff. In Return, they had to plan, they had to go, okay, we gotta do a pincer attack, take them from both ends while Luke is distracting the Emperor and Vader. Like, there was strategy, basic as it was, and it was interesting in a really basic way. Whereas in Mando, it's right, stay completely still and shoot, and you'll win, you'll be fine. And that's every single instance. So, and the fact that Mando doesn't get a single scratch on him at any point in the entirety of season 1 just lowers the stakes further and further, till by the end I was like, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, go to the bathroom, come back, battle's over, right back to this shambles of a story that's left. So
He does at the beginning, and then he gets like the new armor.
yeah, that's why I specifically said season 2. Before
See,
he
gets shot at season 2. Like
he gets shot at, but he doesn't get hurt.
Well, because he has the Beskar.
Yeah, David's just said Beskar is a literal plot armor.
Exactly, he is wearing literal plot armor. Like, he could be getting a hail of bullets, and the Mandalorian and the magical magnetic Beskar will pull the lights to it and protect Mando. I get it. I get how plot armor works. But at least in the first episode, when he's patching himself up, when he has to be careful about his armor and stuff, I was like, ooh, interesting. And now there is no stakes. He's just gonna win, and it's gonna be a pretty barrage of colors, and that's the scene. It's disappointing.
Looks cool though.
I'm sure. I'll take your word for it. Okay, so sorry if I'm seeming distracted. I'm looking at the video, the stream in OBS, and the Discord for David's message. So I'm focusing on 5 different things at the same time. So forgive me if I'm feeling distracted, if I'm seeming distracted rather. I don't mind much, but it's true. Okay, cool. Well, if I'm saying some amount of truth in your eyes, but you guys find it cool, I'm glad that you guys agree with me in some capacity, I guess. Yes?
I was just gonna say, I do agree. Like the whole scene where they're like getting the stormtroopers ready for them to come in, and literally as soon as the door opens, all the stormtroopers just get wiped out. It kind of just takes away from the tension.
Yeah, and it would be because by this point, are we talking about, well, in every episode of Mando season 2 rather, it's like, because we know they're just kind of like, these are beings that are so incompetent that they bump into each other and die, which I couldn't stop laughing at. But yeah, it's like the method by these guys get information, scan a face, any face will do, and you'll get all the information. Like like, never mind this remnants of the Empire. How did the Empire in general, because this is the remnants, how did they rule the Empire? it just sullies the original trilogy quite a lot when I think of this as canon from a logical perspective.
Well, I mean, pretty badly because they most of the budget and workforce they allocated to building a big boom machine.
Okay, but it made sense in the original film because they already had power, but the big boom machine was to consolidate power. It's so that they won't have anyone say, "Look, you bastard, we're not going to follow your rule." It's a means of submitting through fear. So there is a logical reason why they build a second one. Well, we gotta have a bigger boom, so that's a lot less forgivable. But there's logic in the first one, whereas now it's just, oh, okay,
And
I guess.
they had no one to like look at the plans again. Like even after the rebels got it. I mean, I'm pretty sure there were like a lot of engineers or like mechanical engineers and robotic people at the Empire, and they didn't like send it to another one that had to like look at it and said there's a weakness there. They just like had one guy build it and they trusted him entirely. Like designed the Death Star.
Yeah, oh god. Yeah, I forgot that was a plot point in Rogue One. But yeah, it's just when I think of the potential we could have had for some really interesting drama here, I'm just left incredibly disappointed by the stakes because of the complete desecration of stormtroopers. And because we don't have any other antagonists, we don't really have anything interesting going on. It's because it's so ingrained in, oh, this is what's going to happen in the mainline trilogy, because it's so tied to the main storyline of the shows and the films that have come before it. It's really, really deflated me, and I'm just left thinking I'm just not interested in season 3. Okay, so this is something I'm really interested in. Bare bones basics writing. Needs and wants. What is Mando's needs and want?
He wants to deliver the kid to the Jedi.
And his need?
And he needs to do it, so he has that off his plate and can actually. That would be the next logical point. Would be discover the Mandalorian culture, because he is not like it said Bo-Katan in the most recent episode that he's from the Child of the Watch, which is like a sect that's splintered of the actual Mandalorians, and that he can see that he just kind of like gives up on the Child of Watch code when he lifts the helmet, and he wants to deliver Grogu, and then at the time he doesn't want. He wants to beat him, but he needs to do it because that's his task right now, and needs to do that. And I would say the next logical need would be himself, discovering more about Mandalorians, because he's been, lied the whole life about what Mandalorian actually is.
How does it feel knowing that Kylo Ren's gonna kill baby Grogu when he goes apeshit?
We don't know that.
No. It's a fun thing to think about, though. Just makes Kylo Ren even worse. Who said it? I don't. Oh, for fuck's sake, Jon Snow. Yes, that is. Oh yeah, and don't forget, she's McQueen. Okay.
We get back to watching Game of Thrones. Started watching it and then just kind of.
There's really no point, though, is there? I mean, where are you up to?
I can't remember at this point.
You'll be fine.
I'm somewhere. I'll catch up.
Yeah. What about you two, Ilaria, Amy? What is his needs and wants?
I think his want is to get Grogu to the Jedi, and I think he can't focus on anything else until he gets Grogu to safety. So I think before he can, but it does seem like he wants he also wants to find more Mandalorians to sort of understand them better. At least that's what I got from it.
I think that he has to get the kid to a Jedi, but he kind of is conflicted whether he wants to or not. Well, at the beginning, he does want to bring the kid to the Jedi, but then I think towards the end, he's like he has to do it, but he kind of doesn't want to be separated from the kid. So I guess his need, I think, is to going forward. I think his need is to really try and understand who he is.
Yeah.
Oh, well, at least we're going to be having a fresh start at season 3, so that's something to
Is
look
there
forward
gonna
to.
be season 3? I don't think there needs to be season 3.
Oh, they've announced it, so it's going to happen.
I liked where it ended.
Yeah, I mean, season 3 is happening. It's one of the 11 shows that they are doing, so season 3 is coming. And quite frankly, I would have preferred it ended there too, because
I think I think it probably should have ended there, because it's like, what are they gonna do? Like, what are they gonna have
exactly
him doing now?
they finished Mando's arc here. Like, you're gonna have to start fresh again if you're gonna continue it. So
I think the next logical arc would be the Darksaber and the retaking of the Mandalore.
but Bo-Katan's getting her own show.
Well, then I think it might be like
Maybe we can actually get bounty hunting. You know?
Oh, David says no, she's not. Bo-Katan's not. Isn't it Ahsoka-Tan who's getting their own show, not Bo-Katan?
So possibly I could just be getting the names wrong.
Because I don't think it's Bo-Katan.
Wait, isn't there a Bo-Katan project out there?
Yeah, Ahsoka. No, I don't think.
I haven't seen one as well. That's why I was
I
like,
think maybe you've got Ahsoka and Bo-Katan mixed up.
I mean, there are 11 of them. I don't even know all of them.
I mean, the names sound similar, so it's possible.
Okay, well, cool. Darksaber. Okay, so how does the ownership of the Darksaber work? Just explain it to me.
I have no idea. I can't
The
remember.
Darksaber is it's an artifact in the Mandalore culture. Who has it has a right to rule the Mandalore, and it was it's ancient saber that was stolen from the Jedi Temple like long time ago, when like the Mandalore was a massive warrior culture society and it waged wars with the Republic like all the time, and they actually got to the Jedi Temple and like stole the Darksaber, and it was always like the Darksaber kind of grants the title of the Great Mandalore, who is like the lead ruler of Mandalore. And for a time, it's in the Clone Wars, the Mandalore, the Bo-Katan's sister is the Duchess of the Mandalore, and the Darksaber is another like a kind of not there because she tries to like move the Mandalore away from the warrior code. But then Pre Vizsla, who is the Bo-Katan's like, he was leader of a Death Watch, from which I think the Children of the Watch spans from, which was like extremist terrorist organization inside of Mandalore. He comes up with the Darksaber, and then he takes rule of the Mandalore. Then Darth Maul takes rule of the Mandalore, and he has the Darksaber. And then something happens with it in the Rebels. I haven't watched the Rebels yet. I don't remember much, but it's there. And then it gets to the Empire, and then it gets to the Grand Moff Tarkin, and technically who has it rules the Mandalore. And because of the Mandalore is an ancient warrior society, it has to be a win in a combat to that, like the right to rule the Mandalore.
Combat to death. Like, is that specifically something you have to do?
You have to win the Darksaber in a combat, and usually in the Mandalore side, the combats are to that.
Okay, so what if the person who wielded the Darksaber died of natural causes? What would happen then?
Then I don't know. It's kind of it's a warrior society, so they don't usually die of natural causes.
Yeah, but what if it does?
It's a free for all, I guess. Then, who has it
Chuck
first?
it in the air. Who catches it?
Oh wow!
I mean, it is a flawed. Like any warrior society, I would say, is a very flawed code. So
yeah, the more I learn about this Mandalorian culture, the more I'm thinking it's fucking retarded. Okay, so this is thanks to the beauty of YouTube. There is a clip from Rebels where one of the girls from Rebels presents this darksaber to Bo-Katan, and she simply accepts. Why does she accept it there but not here?
I don't know. I'll have to watch Rebels.
David,
answer.
have you watched it? Do you know the answer why? Because I want to know the answer why. Because I've only ever seen the clip. I don't know the context. And by that I mean OG David. I have a theory. Okay, but is the theory rooted in something that is explained in the show, or is it you speculating? While he's doing that, I've
Rooted with hints. It's within hints and within
hints.
the show.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I just interrupt and say I know I don't normally leave early, but I think I'm gonna have to call it at 10:30. I'm getting really tired.
Do you know what? I'm getting.
I am sorry.
Do you know what? I don't blame you. I'm kind of exhausted already. Mainly because, again, my concentration split up so much this stream. So yeah. Plus, wasn't quite what I was expecting to do today. Which is very interesting because thought we were going to be talking solely about consistency and whatnot, and we ended up doing completely something else, which is what did you like? Does it work? What did you like? Granted, episode by episode. So yeah, it was a very different stream from what I expected, and it was kind of fun getting to understand why you guys like it. So yeah, cool.
Are you wanting to call it?
A bit earlier today, yes. Very much.
Okay.
I can literally see the bed right now.
Yeah.
And it's not just because I live in a studio, by the way. But yeah, just as a disclaimer, I don't begrudge anyone for liking the show. Like it. I fucking like it. Maybe not for the same reasons. And we all seem to like it for reasons that are different from each other, which is always fun to know about. Yeah, we all put different things into stock when we approach a piece of media, and that is, Star Wars media rather, and that is kind of cool to find out about other people, It's nice knowing about other people. Yes?
Getting opposing sides to things. I like getting the other side of things. So, I like knowing why people don't like something that I do like. Because it gives me a different perspective that I might not have thought of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And also, I've enjoyed listening to the issues you brought up, Dylan, because they were very interesting and for sure something to think about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I think it speaks to what people's suspensions of disbelief are as well, because there are certain things that prevents me from enjoying the show like you guys do, and you guys are and there are certain things that you guys can overlook if you are having a genuinely good time. And I think it's cool understanding what people like when they are having a good time, rather. So yeah, and plus this is still solely relegated to Star Wars. Like David, we are very much in the same boat of liking Lord of the Rings, and Amy and OG David, we all like the Haunting series, and Ilaria, we like plenty of things. I'm sure something will come to mind eventually.
We all like Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I
We
have fun
all
with
like
Brooklyn
that.
Nine-Nine.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen it in years, but I'm sure I'll enjoy it now if I watch it.
I mean, it's getting a season 8 soon. Like,
Oh,
it's still
Jesus.
going.
Wow. I remember when season 1 was being advertised, never mind airing. Wow.
I remember when season 1 came out. That show is the same age as my kid. Like, I remember watching it when he was, like, really tiny. Like, that's how old that show is.
I discovered it quite late because I discovered it only, I think, third year of uni.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you introduced me to it.
Well
I
done,
took a break
David.
from it and then came back to it, and then I remember Ryan was watching it over my shoulder a couple of times, and he was like, "Nah." I was like, "Do you want to come watch it with me?" And he was like, "Nah, it's fine." And then later on, we ended up binging the entire 5 seasons. I think it was at that point.
The thing is, like, when I introduced it to Ilaria, I only watched the 3.5 seasons of 4th season, and then because it wasn't on Netflix, so
Yeah.
I just wasn't looked. I just waited for like the rest of it to come on Netflix, and then in that time span, Ilaria watched all of it, like all the 5 seasons that were out before I even finished season 4.
Yeah. I remember when it came out, like, because it first came out in the UK on a channel called E4, and I'm not even sure if that's a channel anymore.
Oh yeah, it still is.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I remember Brooklyn Nine-Nine came out, and then I think New Girl came out at the same time as it, so I just binge watched both of those shows.
New Girl came out beforehand, like 3 years before.
Oh.
I was still in Sri Lanka when that came out.
Oh yeah, it did. Well,
They
I
also
discovered
did,
New Girl at the same time as I discovered.
They also did a crossover episode between New
they
Girl
did.
and Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I love the
Oh, God.
crossover episodes.
But yeah, it was really interesting. I think it was either David or Ilaria, one of you brought up coincidences in stories, and I just had a really mad flashback to yesterday, because literally yesterday I wrote like a 3-paragraph section for one of my videos coming up where I explained how coincidences work and don't work in stories. And I was like, whoa, that was a weird coincidence. So that was fun.
That is a weird coincidence.
Yeah. Usually I bring
Crazy.
up the coincidences. Right, as is
What are we
tradition.
talking about next week?
Oh, we'll have to figure that out soon. It was
Okay,
weird, like,
yeah.
we had like 4 weeks sorted, and then we just didn't put anything for next week,
Have
so...
anything.
I mean, we haven't finished season 2 of Mandalorian.
Maybe we could continue it. But I don't know.
Honestly, at this point, I'm not sure if there is a point, because, like, what you guys like about it and what I dislike about it are in 2 completely different ballparks. I mean, it's really cool to understand why you like it and what are the things you like it, but if it's just gonna be me asking you, oh, it's like this plot point, do you like it or not? It's not really gonna be all that interesting.
We can talk about The Last Jedi.
Oh my God, the last...
We already talked about them, didn't we? That was our first like podcast where we talked about all 3 of them.
Fucking hell, though, like, The Last Jedi ages like fucking rotten milk, so I don't mind talking about it again. So.
Fair enough. We can talk about it again if you want.
I liked it.
Of course you did.
The Last Jedi led to the first thing being said on our podcast was basically me going, "Oh my God, Kylo Ren's an incel."
But again, if it's going to be the same as Mandalorian, where it's 2 completely different perspectives rather than the same one, I really don't see an interesting conversation there with The Last Jedi, because I'm going to be focusing on the writing, which there are certain concessions you're willing to make when it comes to Star Wars writing. There's just not going to be an interesting conversation there.
Yeah, no, I think the whole approach to the trilogy was bad from like the production point.
Oh, absolutely. Like, they should have had a plan to begin with instead of having...
Yeah, they had should. We agree on that. They should have a plan for a whole trilogy.
Hey!
Yeah.
Yay!
Oh my word.
We agree!
See, I like Mandalorian, but I didn't like the trilogy, so
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't apply to all of Star Wars, the being able to deal with some plot points.
Yeah, like, because they were so diametrically different in terms of... in terms of their approaches. Like Mando, like it or not, I wholeheartedly believe Jon Favreau had the Luke Skywalker scene at the end from the start, which is why
Yeah.
it makes sense why it's there. I'm not a fan of how they executed it, but hey, I'm happy the fans got what they wanted finally, you know. Whereas
I think. Sorry, go on.
no, please carry on.
No, I was agreeing and with what Amy said, that it's different from medium to medium, and for me, I'm kind of always a bit more lenient with the writing on a TV show than I am on a film. Because if a film has got bad writing, I'm gonna stop 20 minutes in. But if
That's interesting.
if most of the times, at least, unless somebody just heavily suggests I watch something, or if I'm watching it with someone, then I'm not as rude as, okay, we're gonna stop, let's go. But with a TV show, I have a rule of at least 3 episodes.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a general good idea to like give it a few
because
episodes before you
unlike
like,
a
"I
film,
hate this."
it takes time for the plot in a TV series to really get going. So I do give like 3 to 5 episodes before I decide if it's for me or not. So yeah, it's a good rule of thumb to have when it comes to TV show.
Yep.
But the same way, you know, like I have issues with the trilogy, the last trilogy of Star Wars, that I don't want to look over. But with The Mandalorian, I recognize the issues that you brought up, and I say, yeah, that's true, but I'm willing to say, well, I had fun, it was a nice ride, let's look over them, but I recognize they are there. While with a film, while with The Mandalorian, I would say, yeah, I would recommend The Mandalorian for someone to watch, because for me it was fun. If a film is bad written and it adds nothing else, like there's no other thing that I found really amazing, then I'll be like, no, don't watch the film.
Yeah, I mean,
that's fair.
if you ask me, would I recommend someone watch Mando or the sequel trilogy, I'll say, oh god, watch Mando. They're far more respectful for the characters at the very least, and chances are you'll end up liking it. But yeah, I would recommend people watch Mando if it would have gone to my head and choose me to pick between Mando or the sequel trilogy.
Yeah. Also, if anyone wanted to watch the sequel trilogy, I would just tell them to watch it in a context of 3 separate films where it just happens that the actors play same characters with the same name.
It's an anthology of Star Wars in a trilogy form, with completely disconnected stories from each other.
It's like the Sergio Leone Dole trilogy. Same actors, different characters.
Yeah.
It's the haunting of Star Wars.
Can I point something out about the pronunciation of Sergio Leone?
I'm sorry.
No, you did it right, but
okay. I'm not sorry.
To all English-speaking people, it's Sergio Leone, just in the same way it's fettuccine, not fettuccini. Bruschette. It's an E at the end and it's pronounced E.
Cool.
Just to make it clear.
And tune in for next week for Lessons of Italy with Ilaria.
I mean, it's important because it's like someone's name. So
yeah, I mean, fair enough. It is.
Because I think it is fair. Like, it must be really annoying to have things mispronounced.
I don't know. Like, I used to work with a guy that called me George for like 6 months, even though I told him my name was Dylan. I mean, I didn't really care because he gave me a heads up. So I was like, all right, fine, whatever. Just as long as we are on the same page, I'm fine with it.
Now imagine having your name mispronounced on your graduation ceremony.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, no. That happened?
Yeah, to me. I mean, they called me Aria Dylan.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
so shit.
I guess we share a same name then.
Yeah.
which is
But I
never a bad
saw-
thing.
The thing is, when I gave the little piece of paper to the lady that was reading out the names, I saw the panic on her face. So
Oh no! Oh my
Like,
god!
to be fair to the lady, she stands there all day just reading names, and she does mispronounce it quite a lot. But then she has like very short time, like super short time span of reading the name. Then her brain needs to translate it how it is probably read, and she has like super short time to do it, and she has to do it like 1,000 times a day.
You know,
I mean,
I kind of wish I attended
my.
I kind of wish I attended graduation now, because I would have loved to have seen how they pronounce my first name.
Oh, that would have broke them. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, like
Like you just see her face just drop.
oh, if you thought my first name was bad, before we actually changed my surname, it used to be like 14 letters long, and even I have trouble saying it. Yeah, wonderful times.
yeah, I don't blame her though. I mean, like, for someone who's not Italian, my name, I'm sure, like, is seems like a mystery to pronounce, or Italian or Spanish speaking, like, for the other people, it could be a mystery to pronounce.
Languages are a mystery sometimes, but then you learn
Yeah.
about them, and then they
Yeah,
become less
fun.
mysterious.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about my name, but then there are like Czech names that I don't even know where to start to pronounce. So I got lucky with David. It's called David, and that's it. But there are other names that I'm like, I'm not gonna even try.
Whoa! His name's David. I've been calling him David this entire time. Oh no!
It is David,
I was right.
but it's David with short I, not long I.
Oh, I just assumed that there was an E at the end of David, so it was David, the sensual David, rather than base David.
Hmm.
So.
We'll figure out what to do next week, is the conclusion of that of that conversation.
That's fine, yeah.
Um,
There will be something next week for us to talk about. There
Yeah.
always is.
Oh hell, maybe like Amy, you suggested we look at a video. I say we might do that. Who knows?
Oh yeah.
Like the world is our oyster, and we'll do whatever it needs doing.
Have you done the Witcher TV show?
I have issues with the Witcher
Oh.
TV show, but I do like it very much. I enjoy it. It's a good time.
Do the Witcher TV show.
That's a good shout. We could do that.
We could do but
We don't have to do it next week, but
yeah,
I mean,
like
we
in a
could do that.
future week, because I'd like to watch something aside from homework.
Yeah. That's I don't know. We could just
We'll figure it out. We've got a week.
yeah. Yeah,
Like-
this is true.
We have
Okay.
until. Oh hell, maybe we'll just stay up and play games and talk about films in general. Who
We could
knows?
do that. I'd be happy to do that. It'd be a nice break from it being homework.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll figure it out. But in the meantime, I think we've come to a conclusion that yeah, feel free to like Mando. I like Mando. I just have issues with its writing, but I still enjoy it. Maybe
I
not
like it.
for the reasons
would
it wants, but yeah.
Recommend it.
Like, would I watch season 3? Yes. Would I watch Book of Boba Fett? Most likely, because I like Boba. If you expect me to do homework for these shows, I'm not gonna watch them.
Fair enough.
But
Oh, and Original David says he would recommend the original trilogy.
how could you? Okay, so I suppose what we could finish on is, what would you guys recommend this week for people to watch?
Okay.
In general.
Yeah, in
general.
general this time.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Promising Young Woman. I think it's definitely something people should watch because it is a very good film.
Okay, so I'm going to recommend a film that David and I watched recently, and that I think is a very good independent film, and it's fun, and you're in for a ride.
Ooh, what's it called?
It's called Sorry to Bother You.
Ooh.
Oh, is that the one
think
with
I've heard
Lakeith
of it.
Stanfield?
Yes.
Ah, I remember that. I didn't watch
Uh,
it, but I remember it coming out.
Yeah,
So,
well, it's good, but
you're in
yeah,
for a ride. If
you're
you
in for
want,
a ride.
what you expect is happening, or what you think is happening, is not what is happening, and what is actually happening, you will be like, I did not expect this to happen. I'm so surprised. But you'll be more surprised than I am right in my voice, because it is like, woo,
Yeah,
it
also,
is
Cool.
disclaimer, don't watch it with kids.
definitely
Oh,
don't
okay,
have
Right,
good
kids.
to
so
know.
watch it
I
with
don't
kids.
usually watch
Gotcha.
it. Right, so
I just gotta
watch it.
find some kids on the street and watch it with now. Ooh, that sounded bad.
Also, don't watch it with parents if your parents are like very what's the word?
Prude.
Conservative.
Yeah, conservative prude.
Ooh, I know what I'm watching next week with my parents.
Are your parents? Oh. Fun times.
Okay, and OG David is saying It's a Sin is very good.
I'm gonna recommend also a small independent movie. We also watched it recently. It's pretty good. It's called Tenet.
Yeah, I mean that is absolutely an independent film, hardcore.
It's this up and coming director,
Yeah,
Christopher Nolan.
yeah, and it's got this really promising actor, John David Washington, and Robert Pattinson, or as we like to know him as the Edward. Yeah, absolutely. Pattinson. Yeah, true.
Pattinson. Yeah.
I would recommend a show. It's on Netflix called Violet Evergarden. It is an anime, and that's what one of my videos is going to be about over the next few years. Who knows when it's going to come out, but working on it. And arguably one of my favorite, if not my favorite TV show of all time. So there you go. That is what I will recommend. So, without further ado, David, Ilaria, thank you for coming. And OG David, while you have been communicating through messages, it was lovely to have you back. Would you please plug yourselves, you two, before you leave? Where can people find you?
You go, Ilaria. You plug us.
So we have an Instagram page where we post some videos, some little nice things that we do.
Not now, but we will.
Yeah.
Again.
There is some
Literally
content-
now.
No.
No. We're having kind of a break now.
Also because we're in two different countries and
There's like kind of curfews, so
Yeah, something about a virus, I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you can find us on this Instagram page. The handle is at shootingbears_productions. The little logo is a bear with the movie camera, and that's where you can find us.
The links are in the description below. And Amy and OG David, people can find you here. And Amy, when you have your video come out, people will find you there as well.
Yeah, they will if it ever comes out. I literally feel like I never have time to work on it.
I mean,
It's so frustrating.
it's your hobby work, so take as much time as you need, right?
I do want it to actually be good as well.
Oh yeah, but like, I mean, honestly, if you have, like, if you want it to be good, and like if you put in the effort, you redraft and you make sense, you'll be better than most video essays on YouTube.
I hope so. I'm just worried about the quality of my camera and such, because it's not the best camera in the world, but I just don't have the money for a good camera right now.
I mean,
Well-
it's your first video, so just think about the quality of what it is that you're trying to say, rather than, and just make sure your audio's good, and people will tolerate bad video. That's what
never
I've
been
learned.
audio.
Yeah.
People always hate bad audio. That's what I've learned.
I know.
And what were you saying, Ilaria?
Yeah, same thing. If your audio is good, they're not gonna. It's not gonna matter if the video quality is less than 4K.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like, it could even be
I just don't-
720p. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that will be out at some point this year.
Yay!
You have a whole year ahead, so
I mean, how long's it been since part 2 and part 3 of Enola Holmes? Like, take your time, dude. It's fine. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming and joining us with the stream. It has been an interesting conversation. I will give it that, and it gave me a different perspective of how people watch the show rather than just how I watch the show. So it's been an interesting conversation, and I thank you all for joining me today and joining Amy and OG David, A David, AD, and Ilaria. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
thank you.
And thank you anyone who's watching up until this point. I can't imagine it must have been easy, but you made it, and for that,
Thank you. For
I will
sticking
give you a
with us
cookie if I ever meet you. So with that out of the way, toodaloo and goodbye, everyone. Until next week.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
David says bye, by the way. Oh, at least he will. He doesn't know it yet. Bye!
Bye.